gentlemen, welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, August 12th, 2019. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the program. Hope you had a lovely weekend. Every time, by the way, I say August 12th, a jolt goes down my spine. That's a date that I will never forget. 25 years ago today, Major League Baseball players went on strike, and my beloved Expos lost their chance to make it to the playoffs for the first time in my lifetime, maybe the World Series. They're the best team in baseball, 6 games up on the Braves. So it was August 12th. I remember it. I'll never forget it. And it's the 25th anniversary. So when I said that, I was like, ugh, went down my spine. It was weird. Anyway, I'm excited today, my friends. You know, I've been walking up and down the halls here in Bristol, Connecticut, exotic Bristol, Connecticut, and everyone's saying, wow, Ariel, you're in a good mood. You're not usually in a good mood on Monday. A lot going on, a show, you got to do this, got to do that, you got to write your thoughts thing on ESPN.com. I mean, there's a lot going on, but this is special. We are 5 days away, my friends, from UFC 241, and let's be honest, if we're being honest, it wasn't, or it hasn't been, a banner year as far as UFC pay-per-views are concerned. And maybe I'm annoying people by saying that, but it's the truth. It hasn't been a great year. That's not the UFC's fault. There's been some injuries. There's been bad luck. There's been some weird things happening. There's been some holdouts. It just hasn't been, like, we haven't had a blockbuster. We're trying to convince ourselves at times that there are blockbusters, but we haven't had a blockbuster just yet. Saturday, my friends, we get a blockbuster. We get something special in a great town, a great market, a hotbed for all things MMA. Anaheim, Honda Center, that venue, that arena has hosted some of the great moments in the history of this sport. Kane beating Brock Lesnar, Ronda, Liz Carmouche, Jones DC2. I mean, we've had some great moments there, and that's just to name a few. Affliction 1. And on Saturday, we get UFC 241. Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic 2. I mean, look at that. That's just the main card. That's just the main card right there. The return, long-awaited, much-anticipated return of the 209 zone, Nate Diaz, after 3 long years. 3 years ago next week was his last fight against Conor McGregor. 3 years we haven't seen him. And we're getting him in a fight at 170 against a guy who looked that good at 170 in his debut, Anthony Pettis' debut against Wonderboy back in March. And this is a fight that is literally years in the making. I remember talking to Nate Diaz back at UFC 188 backstage. They showed that clip on the broadcast. They zoomed in to cut me out, but I was there. I was holding the microphone. They had a run-in. They don't like each other. Remember Pettis on the show a couple months ago? This is real. I've never heard him so fired up. So we're getting DC Miocic. We're getting Diaz Pettis. Oh, we're also getting Yoel Romero against Paulo Costa. That fight is still happening. That's on the card. That's an incredible fight. A true grudge match. Insane. You got guys like Sadiq Youssef. You got guys like Corey Sandhagen. You got guys like Ian Heinisch, Devontae Smith. So you got some prospects. I mean, it's great. I can't wait. UFC 241 can't come soon enough. This Saturday, I am pumped. I am so pumped. I can't even tell you. I haven't been this pumped for a pay-per-view in a very long time, if I'm being honest. Haven't been this pumped. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait to see it, witness it. Is this DC's last fight? Will he retain? Do they convince him to fight Jones? How does Nate look? How does Romero look? I mean, I just can't wait. Anyway, we'll talk about that. We have some people who are associated with that card coming up. Of course, we're coming off the UFC's debut in Uruguay, Montevideo. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And that was an interesting card. Of course, everyone was very critical of the Valentina Shevchenko-Liz Carmouche fight. I maintain, look, she won the fight. It was never in doubt. It was very one-sided. It wasn't entertaining, but I will maintain that that's not her fault. I hate when people say, to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. No, that's not true. What you have to do is win 3 out of 5 rounds. That's it. They could be super close. All you have to do is win 3 out of 5 rounds, you're the champion. Now, when you're talking about the champion herself, all she has to do is retain. I know that what I'm saying won't make the UFC happy, won't make the ticket buyers happy. You want to see exciting fights. You want to see, look, we all want that. But it is not incumbent upon the champion, Valentina Shevchenko, to try and go out of her comfort zone. Try and get Carmouche to do something exciting. Try to catch. No, she's just got to win. Stick to her game plan, do her thing, and win. And that's what she did. So I can't hate on her. And by the way, have we forgotten that 2 months ago, Valentina Shevchenko viciously and brutally knocked out Jessica Ai? Literally 2 months ago, she did that. Maybe on the short list for knockout of the year. If it wasn't for Masvidal Askren, maybe the front runner right now. Oh, do we forget how great her fight against Joanna Jędrzejczyk was? Do we forget how she mauled Priscilla Cachoeira in her flyweight debut? This isn't a boring fighter. Chill out. One bad fight, and I would say that it was on her opponent more so than her. And it wasn't even bad. It just, it was just one side. She's that good. The gap between her and the rest of the weight class is just that large right now. Who's next? Caitlin Chookagian? Jennifer Maia? I don't know. It's just, I think she can threaten DJ's record. I really do. 11 straight title defenses. I really do. So I'm not hating on her. I don't think the criticism is warranted. And I really enjoy watching her fight. I think she's one of the best champions in the sport right now. So that was notable. How about the co-main? Vicente Luque, Platinum Perry. I thought Perry won very closely, 29-28. I mean, it's not a robbery, but I just think he did enough. A great fight. Incredible to see him in that guillotine, the blood pouring out of his face, his nose. I think the blood actually helped him get out of it. And then, of course, you see his nose afterwards. Maybe the worst nose fracture that we've ever seen in MMA history. This is the guillotine right here. The blood is literally pouring out of his face. Unbelievable. But I think it made it very slippery, so he was able to survive. And then you see the nose afterwards. I mean, Andrei Arlovsky, he can't hold a candle to that. I can't hold. I mean, look at that. I wish I could donate my nose to Mike Perry right now. Look at that guy. You remember when he saw himself? Do you see when he saw himself on the big screen? He was smiling. The guy was actually smiling. I'm told he's in great spirits. He had surgery. I mean, look at that. That is just unbelievable. Wow. And they were booing this guy in the first round. They were actually booing him. They actually had the audacity to boo him. He's hoping to fly home tonight. No contact for 6 months. Perry has reached that Cerrone-like territory now where I think he can do no wrong. Win or lose, his stock doesn't drop. People love him. He's fun before the fight, after the fight, during the fight. It's great theater when he fights, and that was another great one. Rodolfo Vieira had a great performance as well. But overall, it wasn't, it was a bit of a shallow card, but it was fine. It did its job, but it gets us to 241. I'm very excited about 241, as you can tell. Let me run down today's lineup, and we shall get to our first guest of the day. I'm looking forward to talking to her. All right, at around 4:05, the aforementioned Valentina Shevchenko will join us, talk about her big win. She's flying home right now. Very cool to see her supporting her sister Antonina last week. Then Antonina's in her corner this week or this past weekend. We'll see what's next for her. And what does she think about Henry Cejudo calling her out? How about that? Nicholas Dalby is back. He wanted to come back. He was released from the UFC several years ago, fought all the way back, fought through Cage Warriors, and became the interim champion over there. And now he just got re-signed to fight on the Copenhagen card against Alex Cowboy Oliveira. He's from Denmark. It's a big deal for him, very emotional when he got the news. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. He has a phenomenal story. If you don't know it, do stick around for it. It's a great story. One of his more notable UFC performances was against Darren Till. Fought him to a draw. Darren Till will join us. What's up with him? Where's he been? Is he moving to 185? When are we going to see him again? What about the knockout loss? Haven't talked to him in a while. Haven't talked to DJ in a while as well. Demetrius Johnson, the aforementioned Mighty Mouse, will join us at 3:05. Talk about now being 2-0 in one championship. Looking forward to that. Michelle Watterson is going to fight Joanna Jędrzejczyk October 12th in Tampa, not San Francisco. We'll get her thoughts on why she's not fighting for the belt next. We'll also talk to Daniel Cormier. Yes, my pal. By the way, if you like the E60 show, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone who watched. It was a great thrill. I've talked about it a lot now, but that was a huge honor for me. So now we get to talk to DC live on the show, in person, in living color. I'm looking forward to that. Duke Rufus will join us, talk about the Anthony Pettis fight at 2:05. Captain Eric Albarracin, head coach for Paulo Costa, will join us at 1:45. We'll also talk to him a bit about Henry Cejudo. And Alima Lay McFarland, the reigning defending Bellator women's flyweight champion, was in the corner of her good friend Liz Carmouche on Saturday. We'll talk about the fight, what's next for her, all that and more. But first, let's talk to a rising star at 125 pounds, 2-0 in the UFC, 7-0 as a pro. The one and only Maycee Barber joins us on the program. Hello, Maycee. How are you?
awesome. How are you, Ariel?
I'm doing really well. Good to see you outside, living life, healthy, right? The hand is okay, I assume. You have a fight
Yeah,
now, Jillian Robertson. We're all good, right?
yeah, we're all good, and I'm enjoying camp,
So
so I'm gonna be ready.
for someone who has been so eager to get on the treadmill, break records, fight consistently, fight often, how difficult was it to deal with a broken hand that sidelined you for several months?
It was frustrating for sure. I was out for my last fight was March, so it's been about 6 months. So it's definitely frustrating, but it's also motivating. It's motivating to want to get back in there and put on a performance.
That was your first surgery, correct?
Yeah, it was.
What do you think about
Hopefully
it?
the last,
Yes, the experience
but I
going
don't
under
know.
the knife, the rehab. I feel like you're an antsy person. You just want to get back in there. You don't want to deal with all that nonsense.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to really deal with it, but I think that it's also something that helps you grow as a person and as an athlete. Like if you have to go through hard things, it's gonna make you stronger. It's gonna make you better, and mentally it should make you tougher.
So you are back, you're 100%, and you get this fight against Jillian Robertson. Do you like this matchup?
I love this matchup. I think that this is a fight that no, I don't think that. I know that this is a fight that I'm gonna finish, and I'm excited for it.
Oh, wow. Why so confident about the finish?
One because her striking is not like mine. Her clinch is not my even compared to mine. And then the only thing that she thinks that she has against me is the jiu-jitsu, and that's because she stated that she's got all this talent and this skill, but as my old coach used to tell me, he's like, remember, I wasn't there, so um, I can win on the ground, I can win on the striking, and I can win in the clinch, and it's gonna be a good fight. I'm mean, I have the mentality, and I'm gonna finish.
Wow. So would it be fair to say that you haven't been all that impressed? Like she had a great win a couple of weeks ago, people glowing about her. You're not overly impressed, it seems, with what she's done.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought she had a great win against an opponent who spent more time uh, in the tattoo shop than she did in the gym. So I think that I'm a completely different fighter than she's ever faced. She's the same thing as JJ Aldrich. JJ had never been finished before, and Jillian's gonna be finished.
You know what I love about you, Macy? Youngest fighter on the roster right now, just 21, if I'm not mistaken. Very underrated trash talk game. Like you're always like here, but you deliver. I mean, you don't mince words. I remember when we had you on the set of the show back in July, I think it was, and you were talking about Paige and you were talking about Valentina. I think people like take you for just being a nice little sweet girl, but the trash talk game is on point. Props. Who inspired this? Where did this come from, or is this just all you?
It's honesty. I feel I will say what I feel, and that's how I feel. I called out Paige Van Zant again way before she had a broken arm. I called out Mackenzie Dern way before she was in the UFC. I called her out when I was in LFA because I want to fight girls that have following and that have who have what I want, and they have a following that I want, and I know that I have the talent that they don't possess, and I just haven't been in the spotlight quite as much as they have because they were on a different platform. They were a little bit before my now that I have the ability to beat them. I want to take so honestly, it's just complete honesty, and it's hard work. I put in the work, I put in the time, I put in the effort, and I give everything that I have in me to be the best that I can possibly be. And when you do that, there's nothing but confidence in yourself.
I respect that. So, considering the fact that you've been talking about the Mackenzie Derns and the Paige Van Zants, of course, Mackenzie's just coming off giving birth, although she is coming back around that time. Do you feel a little disappointed? Like, was this not the marquee match that you were looking for? Were you looking for a bigger name?
No, I'm happy with it. I'm coming off of, again, a hand surgery. I want to fight, and I'm going to be known no matter who I fight. I've decided that it doesn't matter if I get a Paige Van Zandt. It doesn't matter if I get a Mackenzie Dern. I mean, those are great names to fight and beat up. But what's going to set me apart is my performance and me going out there and finishing I will go out and I will try to finish.
I think we're having some connectivity issues. Maybe because I don't know if you hear me. Let's reconnect with Macy and maybe tell her to go inside, because sometimes when we're outside, that's problematic. Can we do that? All right, Corporate Jake, you effort that, because I want to hear what she has to say about everything.
Effort it.
And I'm getting to the flyweight division, because we had her on, I think it was the 239 pre-show with Chael in Las Vegas, and she was great talking about Paige and talking about Valentina Shevchenko. Very underrated. And like, I use the term trash talk when I speak about like what she's saying, but it does really just come across as her being honest. And I appreciate that. Like, I don't want to deter her from speaking that way. It's just great to see a 21-year-old who is that confident about their abilities and their place in the division. When, typically you have 2 fights, you're that youngest fighter on the roster, and, you're going to try to not ruffle feathers. She doesn't care. I love it. And we know how good Jillian Robertson looked in her last fight back in Edmonton just a couple of weeks ago. So this is a quick turnaround for her and a big opportunity for both of them to perhaps cement their spot at 125. 125 is open right now. Katlyn Chookagian is out there. She's trying to get that fight against Valentina Shevchenko. Jennifer Maia is out there. Andrea Lee is out there. Macy is coming back. Jillian Robertson is out there. Paige is still recovering, coming off a win, but it's been a while now. Her last fight was back in January, so it's kind of a race right now. And Macy looking to separate herself from the pack. Let's go back to the Skype machine and see if we're good with Macy. Macy, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had to move inside. I think the weather is starting to come in.
No problem. Okay, yeah, this is better. So I think let's stick with this. Okay, so let me ask you, did you see the Shevchenko-Carmouche fight? That's your division. And if so, what did you think of it on Saturday?
I did, and I also heard what you had to say about it, and how a lot of people are saying that it was not a very great fight for Valentina. And what I think is, I think that as a champion, the people who are coming in to fight you and take your title, they have to come in and take that title from you. And you have to really put yourself in there, and you have to be aggressive, and you have to go and take that title from the champion. And I don't feel like Liz necessarily went out there and just tried to take that title from Valentina. So Valentina is a very smart fighter. I think that she doesn't put herself in danger. She's not going to put herself in a risky position just to put out, and impress everyone. She's going to go out there and she's going to do what she does best, and that's dominate the fight and take care of business and defend her title.
So when you watch her, what's going through your mind? Do you feel, I mean, you're super young and everyone wants to, slow their roll, but you strike me as a very confident person. Clearly, do you start like, I could do way better against her than these people are doing?
Absolutely. I feel like I could do right now. I could do way better, and I could actually put up a fight and potentially take it, but I'm gonna continue to train, and I'm taking it one step at a time. I don't want to just rush into, hey, I want a title fight right now. I'm smarter than that, and I want to know that when I go in for a title fight that I have every single bit of me that's ready, and that I won't make the mistakes that other girls will make, and I will be more sound of a fighter than Valentina, and that's gonna take that takes effort. I mean, she's older, she's more developed, and I'm younger, and I'm definitely coming, but I'm going to take my time.
Okay, so you say you want to take your time, and I respect that, and I actually agree with it, but you were also introduced to us as the person who wants to break Jon Jones's record for being the youngest champion, and the clock is ticking. You still have the clock? I ask you about this all that. You still have the clock on your phone?
I do. Yeah. I do. I have it on my phone right now.
So you can't really take your time if you want to break that, or have we changed the goal?
No, the goal has not changed. No, what I mean by take my time is like the next fight, like this fight and then the next fight. I'm not necessarily looking at like fighting for the title and then the next fight. That's also what I mean by take my time. I don't mean like, oh, I need like 4 years. I don't need 2 years. I need, a few more fights, and I truly believe that I'll be ready.
Okay. Do you feel like right now, excluding yourself, is there anyone in that weight class who can give her a tough fight, who can potentially beat Valentina Shevchenko right now? Do you see any threats out there?
Honestly, the only fighter that I mean, I don't. Not right now. I mean, not in the 125 division. I mean, that division is pretty wide open, until you get to like the top three, right? And by the top three, I mean like you have the challenger and you have the number two, but aside from that, I mean, you don't really have many girls in that division that really will beat her up.
When you hear people like myself saying that the gap between her and the rest of the weight class is maybe larger than in any other division, that she's the most dominant champion, all that stuff, does that bother you? Do you feel like that's an insult to the division? I feel like the 125ers feel like they don't get the respect that they deserve, maybe because Valentina is so good. But if we're being honest, is there something to that?
No, honestly, I think that when you say the gap between Valentina and the other girls, I truly believe that I'm in the little sliver inside that gap that's right next to Valentina and before all those other girls. I just have to go out there and I have to fight them and finish them just to prove that to everyone else, because I believe that in my heart, but until I show it, nobody else is going to really believe it. So, but then again, also the women's divisions, I mean, we as women are underdeveloped just because there's less of us that go out there and do it. We haven't been as far along in this game as all the men. So, Valentina is just ahead of most of the women,
Do you think she's a boring champion?
No, I think she's a smart champion. I mean, she doesn't. There's two different kinds of champions. Valentina is not someone who goes out and tries to build herself media wise. She's a true fighter and a true athlete, and she wants to just be a dominant champion. She doesn't care about media or building herself up. She's gonna just go out there and fight, and that speaks for itself. When she goes out there and she can dominate these girls, even if it's not in a very, like, I guess, aggressive and grueling fashion, she still dominates them, and that doesn't, I haven't seen any girl that's taken the title from her, so I think she's a great champion. She's got the ability to defend her title against these girls.
What about her dance skills? Rate them 1 to 10.
Considering I don't have those dance skills, I'll give her a 10.
Yeah,
because I don't have those yet.
Well, yet? Are you working on that as well?
You can have the dance skills.
Would
I learn to dance? Yes, I'd love to.
She could be the dancing champion of the UFC. You want to be the flyweight champion of the UFC.
I want to be the flyweight champion. I'm going to be the flyweight champion, and I'm going to be the finisher in the 125 division.
By the way, did you see Henry Cejudo call her out? What do you think of that?
I didn't see that. I haven't paid too much attention to the social media. I don't know what he said. What did he say?
He said that he wants to be the first intergender champion of the UFC. He said that she has gold. He wants all the gold. And I don't know if he was being 100% serious, if I'm being honest, but I thought it was interesting. He's a bit of a different cat. I don't know if you know this about Henry.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. And I mean, if he wants to say it, we're talking about it right now, so it's going to get people talking, and that's a lot of it, that's a huge part in this sport is just getting people to talk. So, if he wants to do it and he believes he can do it, let him talk about it. Let him go for it. But I don't think men and women are going to ever fight.
No.
I mean, it's just honestly, it's a different thing. I spar with all the guys in the gym, and I spar with smaller guys, I spar with bigger guys, and there's just a difference between men and women, whether we like it or not. Us women, we weren't created to just go out there and brawl with each other, but we do, and that's something that we're going to prove that we can do. But men just possess a different kind of strength, and even if you're in the same weight class, it's still going to be shown,
Jermaine Durandamy once fought a man and beat him. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You can see
it. That's impressive.
You may not have been born, but you can see it on YouTube. I believe the clip is up there, so it has happened. But I agree with your sentiment on it. By the way, how many siblings do you have?
I have 5 siblings. I have 1 older sister and 4 younger siblings.
Oh my gosh. Any of them? I saw a picture of you and your brother at the gym. Any of them fight as well or are training to be fighters?
Yes, I have a 18-year-old brother. He just turned 18 in May. His name is Wyatt Barber, and he right now is fighting for LFA. He should be fighting, I believe, September 21st. Again for LFA. You know, he's still an amateur, but he's having a hard time getting some amateur fights. So if there's anybody out there that wants to fight him in LFA for an amateur fight, let's do it. But yeah, we're gonna be I know the Sage and Colby,
Yeah.
I think is her name.
Yep.
They wanted to be the first brother and sister in the UFC, but life happens, things change. But I truly believe that Wyatt and I are going to be the brother and sister of the UFC, and that's another thing that we're going after. So I truly believe that's going to happen.
I love it. I like the goals. I respect them very much. I'm looking forward to your return. October 18th, Boston, Massachusetts, against Jillian Robertson. Very important fight at 125. Kudos to you for not shying away from the big fights and for telling it like it is. Welcome back. Good luck in training, and we'll see you in Boston.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you after I finish her.
All right. I will remember that. There she is, Maycee Barber. Note, she always says finish. She is always harping on that term. She wants to be a finisher. She wants to be a contender. She wants to be a player. She wants to break John Jones's record of being the youngest champion in UFC history. A couple of years left. We'll see if she gets it done. Again, she faces Jillian Robertson on the Chris Weidman versus Dominic Reyes fight on October 18th in Boston. Plus 57 significant strike differential in 2 UFC fights. 123 to 66. That's incredible. Last 4 wins have come via KO. TKO again, 7-0 as a pro, 2-0 in the UFC. Matter of moments, we're going to be joined by another women's flyweight, the great Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, the Eliminator. She was in Liz Carmouche's corner on Saturday in Uruguay. She, of course, is the reigning defending Bellator women's flyweight champion. And she is, there were people afterwards talking about her versus Valentina. Could that be a fight? Way back when I first started at ESPN, we had to do this like fantasy matchup thing. I think it was after Ben Askren got traded for DJ. And we have to do one of these polls, these panel things. We do these all the time. And we were asked, like, what fantasy matchup, if you didn't have to worry about promotion, would you like to see? And I said Ilima-Lei versus Valentina. And this was last year when no one was talking about it. Now all of a sudden everyone's talking about it. Not likely to ever happen, of course, because co-promotion doesn't really happen these days or ever with the UFC and anyone else. But it would be a nice thing. It would be fun to dream. So I wanted to get her thoughts. I believe she's still in Uruguay as we speak. So let us find out if that is in fact true. Let's go to the Skype machine once again and say hello to the reigning defending Bellator women's flyweight champion, the one and only Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, joining us. You are still in Uruguay, right?
I am. I actually just extended my room for one more day.
Why is that?
Because my flight got delayed till like 10 o'clock tonight, so I don't really want to check out. I'm going to stay here and sleep.
And how has it been? It looks very cold over there.
It is freezing, and I had no idea. And I booked a hotel that had a sweet pool on the roof, and I was expecting to be all in the sun, but it's winter, so that was definitely a rookie mistake.
Is MMA a big deal? Like, has it been fun to be there? Were the people excited about a big show coming there?
Yeah, honestly, even though the weather wasn't, tropical like I expected it to be, the people have been awesome. The people are some of the best fans that I've ever met. They were really, really appreciative. Everywhere that we went, people were coming up to us, and we were just really happy about the fights being here in this country. So it was really cool. So
obviously you were there to corner and help Liz Carmouche prepare for her big fight against Valentina Shevchenko. Of course, it didn't go her way. She has drawn some criticism afterwards. From your perspective, what went wrong in the fight?
A fighter like Valentina, she thrives off of aggression when her opponent is the aggressor, and so part of the game plan was to frustrate her by not being aggressive, not coming forward like she's used to, and to bait her to come forward so that Liz can go for the takedown or work her takedown. So that was the game plan, but unfortunately Valentina didn't take the bait, and so it was a really awkward matchup. It was an awkward style of two fighters basically not being aggressive. So I don't think necessarily anything went wrong. Like Liz followed the game plan. She just wasn't able to execute her takedowns like we were hoping for.
Also, would it be possible to move closer to, I guess, the computer or the microphone? Because we want to hear your great insight, but it sounds a little soft.
Is it better? Can you hear me?
Is that better, guys? Okay, Corporate Jake says it's better. Now you're like super close to the camera. It's great. All up in our grill. You said we heard you on television. I think going into the third round, like you're sticking to the game plan, everything's good, and people picked up on that. At any point, was there any consideration to change the game plan, considering how the fight was going?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like the fourth and fifth rounds, maybe we could have even changed it in the third. But I was actually gone all of Liz's camp, and so I didn't work with her at all for this fight. And I mean, it wouldn't have made sense anyway because I'm not Southpaw, I'm not a Muay Thai fighter. But I knew that I was coming out to her fight because I was still going to be a body there for her, work out with, make sure her weight cut was good, and then also because whenever I corner Liz, I'm her ground coach. So if it hits the ground, that's when I'm the one cornering, right? But Boogie, our head jiu-jitsu coach, he actually ended up coming out. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm off the hook. I'm just going to be there to help her get warmed up and everything. But then the day before the fight, they were like, hey, Lima, you're going to be the one mic'd up and you're going to go in every round. I was like, what? So I was kind of surprised, but it was just what Liz wanted. She felt comfortable with me in there. But my main job was when it hit the ground, which didn't happen. It was mainly all stand up. So that was Charles's part. But yeah, so I guess like I didn't really feel comfortable changing up the game plan. That was going to be our head coach's call.
Okay, fair enough. After a fight like that, where it never feels like it actually like got going, what is the mood like backstage? Like, what is the mood like with her? How do you guys react to it?
It's obvious, it's awkward, but Liz is like, she's a Marine. She's such a straightforward person, and so there was, we were quiet backstage. Like, I didn't know what to say really, but then we started going over the positives of the fight, like what she did good. That lower calf kick was really hitting the spot. And so we just went over the positives of the fight. Everything was really straightforward. Again, Liz is very straightforward. So yeah, it was a little awkward at first just because it was so quiet, but afterwards, like we were fine. We went out to dinner afterwards. Everything's fine. So I was telling some of our other fighters that were there, I was like, you know what, guys, at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter. The people that love you are still going to be there. Your coaches, your teammates, your family, they're still going to be there. And if anybody isn't there after a loss or something, then they don't belong in your life anyway. So she came out of there unhurt. She didn't have any injuries. She's healthy and she's still loved. So that's all that matters.
Yes. Was that your first time seeing Valentina fight in person?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, that was.
What did you think of her?
She's tiny. I mean, I always feel that fighters look really big on camera, and then when I see them in person, I'm like, oh, they're really not that big. So yeah, she's tiny. Actually, I told Liz afterwards, like way after the fight, I was like, hey, can I tell you something now? She's like, yeah. I was like, I kind of have a crush on Valentina. I think she's so cute. She came up to us afterwards to shake her hands. I'm just like, she's so cute, she's so nice. So yeah, I'm a fan of her. I've always been a fan of her. I think she's a great fighter and super respectful. Her and her team have always been very respectful. So I really admire that about her. And yeah, it was cool seeing her fight in person because obviously we had to study a lot of film on her to get ready for this one. So yeah, but she's not as big as I thought she was.
So as I was saying before we had you on, around a year or so ago, I was asked to write for ESPN, ESPN.com, like what's a fantasy matchup that you would like to see? And I picked you versus Valentina. And I remember sending you screen grab of that, and you were like, yeah, that's cool, but that's crazy, and I'm not really ready for that sort of thing. Something like that. You were very humble about it in a jokey way. But when you sit there and watch her a year later, is there any part of you that that's your weight class? That's your equivalent. That's the champion in the other organization. Is there any part of you now that you see you're like, I could take her. I could be the one.
Totally. I mean, and you're right. When you interviewed me last time, I was just like, I think I said something like, Valentina would beat me 9 out of 10 times, but all I need is that one shot. But I honestly think that she's totally beatable. She's beatable. It's just about cracking that code, like that one game plan. And I actually thought that her fight against Juliana Pena was really good. Like Juliana was doing good. She just got caught on the ground. So, and I think I'm much better on the ground. That wasn't a jab at Juliana, by the way. She's a great fighter. But yeah, I just think that my ground game is more solid. So it's just about cracking that game plan. But yeah, I totally think she's beatable. Of course, she's an amazing fighter. She has way more experience. She has like 52. When I was looking at her record, she has something like 52 kickboxing matches. So obviously she has much more experience, but I 100% believe that she's beatable.
This was the first time where I noticed afterwards that people are like, there's no challenges for her in the UFC. Ilima-Lei is the one. That's the fight we want to see. Like, that's the first time afterwards. Are you starting to get that more, that people are saying, like, we want to see you, that they're viewing you on the same level as her?
Yeah, I mean, I think it also, that conversation has started too, because they saw me, in the ring.
Right.
So yeah, I think I definitely, I got a lot of notifications after that. I mean, people have been saying that for a while, but I definitely, there was a lot more conversation about that after this fight.
Speaking of being in the ring, like, the UFC, as you know, I got some heat for this, but I feel like people took this the wrong way. You are so synonymous with the Bellator brand because you're so proud to be a Bellator fighter. You have said this before, that for some reason, seeing you in the Reebok Power Ranger uniform, it just sticks out more than the other people for some, because like, you're such a Bellator fighter, and that's not a knock on you.
Yeah.
And people were saying I was turning the part. Do you understand what I'm saying though, right? Like, it's almost like you're a Bellator person, and it's just funny to see you there. And then you rock the fanny pack while you do it, and they're very strict about like accessories. How do you get away with that?
I asked the guy. I was actually wearing Nike shoes too, because I completely forgot. I completely forgot my Reebok shoes. Yeah, they're fanny pack, and they caught me, and so I had to put on this like really tiny pair. But yeah, I asked them. I was like, "Hey, can I take my fanny pack out?" They checked it. There was no logos. They're like, "Yeah, you're good." So yeah, this is a new fanny pack that I wore out. My last one was in a like flower design, but this is my new one, camouflage. But yeah, going back to the whole like seeing me in Reebok gear and everything, it's interesting. I agree. And I was actually wearing Bellator stuff the whole trip while I was out here, and a part of me kind of felt uncomfortable, especially when I was working out in the gym, because I'm like surrounded by all these fighters, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble pretty soon. But no, like, yeah, like you said, I'm proud to represent my promotion. But everybody knows that, MMA is a small community. You're going to be fighting with people from all different organizations, and Bellator knows that I corner Liz for all her fights. So yeah, there's no issues with that at all. At least on Bellator's end. I don't know how the UFC feels, but yeah, there's no issue. And actually, I give away all of my stuff anyway afterwards to Liz's wife. So
you won't be
caught.
Like
I'm wearing all of the Reebok.
You won't be caught dead wearing that, right?
Maybe when I watch Liz's fights, yes, but outside, I don't really wear any of it.
Is there a part of you that like kind of wants to be a rebel, wear the Nike shoes, wear the fanny pack, wear the Bellator gear all week? Like, is there a party that sort of wants to, stick out a little bit just to stick it to them?
Stir the pot. A little part of me that seeing you.
What?
Yeah, I want to pull Ariel occasionally when I'm out here. Just stir the pot, keep things interesting.
I respect it. I like it. I think you should do it more. So would it be fair? Like, is Valentina a dream fight for you? Like, one day before it's all said and done, is that a fight you would like to see happen for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool, but my dream fight still is against Liz. That's whatever people ask. I'm like, I want to fight Liz. We have to do it. She's my mentor. She's my sister in arms. That's always been my dream fight, is for me and Liz to fight each other.
Legit?
So, yes, Valentina after that.
A real fight?
Yeah.
Why?
We've talked about it already, because it would just be like a crazy storyline. It would be a crazy storyline, and it's like it doesn't matter who wins, because if she were to win, then it's like, yeah, dude, like that was my mentor. She was the one that raised me in this sport. And then if I win, it's like she's passing the torch. So yeah, I've always loved the idea of fighting Liz.
Okay. This is like the complete opposite from what we've heard from everyone over the last 20 years about fighting your friend, but I respect it as well. I understand you got a tattoo yesterday in Uruguay. Is that correct?
Oh, I did. Yes.
What is the tattoo, and why did you have to get one in Uruguay?
So we get tattooed whenever Liz fights internationally. We get tattoos. So her fight in Prague, I got Babel on my finger. Sorry, I don't know where the camera is.
Oh yes.
Okay, Babel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then wow. Okay, so I actually didn't reveal my tattoo to anyone yet. I got it last night, but
Oh, this is exclusive.
okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. What? What?
I got Punta.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Okay. So not gonna lie, I was drinking yesterday, and I woke up this morning, and I was like, oh, my mouth is sore. I was like, oh my gosh, I got a tattoo. And then when I looked at it, I turned to I was like, Juliana, why did I get Punta? And she was like, okay, so they wrote down they wrote down on 2 pieces of paper. They wrote down Punta, and they wrote down Pina, and I had to choose between those 2. And I did like a ceremonial dance and prayer, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling this, like this is the hand, and I opened and it was Punta, so that's what I got on my lip.
So wait a second. First of all, Pina is pineapple, right?
Pineapple. That's my
yes,
Pina
pineapple
is my
princess.
alias.
Right.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
Punta though? Why was that even an option?
Okay, so Punta is because I was what was I saying? Oh, I was talking about somebody, and I was like, F that Punta. And my friend who speaks Spanish is like, it's not Punta, it's Puta. Like, oh. And so I just thought it was fun. And then when I came out here, then there's like a big mall that's called Punta Carreras or whatever. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to him, and I was like, look, Punta. And so initially, and then they told me, they're like, Punta means point. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll get it on my pointer finger. And then I just ended up getting on my lip instead.
Oh
so
my
it was
gosh.
Just a stupid joke that I got. I got a drunk tattoo last night in Uruguay.
Wow. on your lip? How much does that hurt? Like how much?
On my lip, yeah.
Are you in pain right now?
No, it just feels wrong. No, it's not bad. But I actually had a tattoo on my lip before. It was Punahou that I got when I graduated. That's my alma mater. And so it kind of worked out, because after a while, lip tattoos fade anyway. And so that was like 10 years ago.
Oh.
And so it kind of the letters worked out, because it was Punahou and Punta. So he was able to cover over it because it was really faded. So yeah, it looks. I like it.
But how long do you have to keep your mouth like this? Like how long do you have to actually do that for?
It only took like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Gosh.
It was fine.
That is unbelievable. And you have any recollection of like the actual tattoo getting, or were you completely out of it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure how I chose it. I forgot about that part.
Wow, that is amazing. All right, good times in
No
Uruguay.
regrets.
Yes, and this I believe this is a big week for you, right? Aren't you on Family Feud this week as well?
Oh yeah, that's on Sunday. Well, so that's on Sunday, and then also I get back to San Diego tomorrow, and I'm supposed to close on my house. I move
Nice.
out of my apartment. So it's a really, and then I get my dog back. So it's just like craziness this whole week.
Was Family Feud fun?
Yeah, it was really fun. The the Bella twins, they were really cool. The All Fighters were super cool. And we didn't even know. We had no idea who our teammates were going to be until we showed up. And so when we saw everyone, we were like, oh crap, like this is going to be awesome. So yeah, Steve Harvey was really cool. It was just, yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I can't tell you guys what happened,
Okay.
but it was pretty hilarious.
I feel like I should ask you if you have your next fight yet. Do you have it yet?
Maybe,
Oh, okay.
but I can't tell you.
Why not? No one
Well,
watches this.
wait, can I tell you? I feel like we already kind of we announced the date and the place, but I still don't know who the opponent is.
What's the date and the
Oh yeah,
place?
December 14th, Bellator Hawaii.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. No, we didn't officially announce it, but we did like a press tour back in like May or something.
wow. So you're
That
going
was
back Honolulu,
yeah.
and is it the rematch against Artiega?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
They haven't told me, but I am going to be announcing. We're going to be announcing it at the San Jose card September 7th.
Okay. So you're not holding out on
Yeah,
us here,
yeah.
right?
No, I'm really not. So I mean, I'll probably find out before then, but you guys will see officially on September 7th.
All right. Well, that is big. And will you be headlining?
I don't know. I don't know that.
I would imagine. Such a big deal the
Yeah, I
last
just
time.
know the date.
Okay. And before I let you go, I would also be remiss if I don't ask you. You've been doing great things. I know it's a bit of a tense time back home. I won't lie and say that I'm an expert at all of this, but I've tried to learn, speaking to Rob DeMello, who's a journalist out there, and Max a little bit. Could you tell us how things are going? I don't know if your shirt is in reference to that at all, but it is. Okay. I saw The Rock. The Rock there. How are things going?
It's kind of at a stalemate right now, but yeah, in case any of the viewers don't know what we're talking about, there is a very, very big, probably the biggest Hawaiian uprising in modern day history, to protect Mauna Kea, which is our most sacred mountain on the Big Island of Hawaii. And there's a protest because they're trying to build the world's largest telescope up there. And it's just enough is enough. Hawaiians, we're trying to protect our land, we're trying to protect our right. And so we're all unifying right now. And it's just been like an incredible experience. I went up to Mauna Kea a couple weeks ago, and I'm probably going to go back in September. Probably I'm going to take CJ with me.
Oh, yeah.
For a press tour. So yeah, but right now it's kind of at a stalemate. The state of Hawaii has extended the contract that started construction, was extended for 2 more years, but we're like, fine, guess we're gonna stay up there for 2 more years, we're physically blocking the access road for the construction companies to access the Mauna Kea. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how long we have to stay up there. We'll stay up there for 2 generations, So yeah, I'm always sending all of my love and prayers up to the Kia'i, or the protectors up there. There are some people who have not left yet, who are literally living up there,
Wow.
protecting Mauna Kea. Yeah, so I mean that they are the real MVPs. Yeah, so it's just amazing seeing all the aloha and the solidarity amongst Hawaiians and supporters.
Wow. Did you meet The Rock when he went up there? Were you there?
No, I actually left the day before he came, but I was there when the governor, who was the one who like agreed or is for TMT, the 30-meter telescope. My last day was when he came up. So and then I left, and then like Damian Marley, The Rock, Jason Momoa, they all came up that following couple of days. But yeah, I've been following everything pretty religiously, via social media. So yeah, it's a very, very big deal right now. Like history is being made right now.
Is there any end in sight? Do you guys feel like a resolution will be made, or no, not now?
Yes, I believe it's not going to be built. I really believe that too. I'm not just like saying that blindly, but yeah, TMT has started the process to get the building permit in the Canary Islands, which was their plan B. So that's really promising, that they're starting that process. And yeah, like I said, we're going to stay up there for as long as it takes. We're not going to let it go through.
I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. Again, I can't profess to say that I'm an expert at any of this, but I've learned through, honestly, most of it through your social media and seeing Max talk about it. BJ, it seems like every famous Hawaiian person is in favor of what you are fighting for as well, which I think speaks to something. I mean, I haven't seen really the other side. I know no one seems to be happy with the politicians, but I give you guys a lot of credit for going out of your way and flying there, going back home, and standing up for what you believe in. So much respect. Power to you guys. Yes, and I hope it all works out for all of you. Thank you for doing this, Salim Alei. I appreciate it very much, especially as you're getting ready to go over there. And please, no more tattoos, okay? That's it. We're done.
No, I know. Don't worry.
What is Walter going to say? What is Walter going to say about the lip tattoo?
They're like, why did you get Pina?
Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, and good luck to you in your next fight. We'll talk to you probably beforehand.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
All right, there she is. Mahalo and aloha to the great Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, the reigning defending Bellator women's flyweight champ. Gets a tattoo in Uruguay. Incredible. I'd love to see her fight Valentina Shevchenko again. Probably not going to happen. Pie in the sky idea. But, hey, one can dream, right? All right. Let's start to turn our attention here to UFC 241. We're going to have Duke Roufus coming up in a few minutes, talk about the Pettis Diaz fight. After that, we're going to have Daniel Cormier coming up. Of course, he's in the headliner. But first, I want to talk to this man because he's actually the reason why I learned about Yoel Romero way back when, and now he's cornering a fighter up against Yoel Romero this Saturday. He's Paulo Costa's guy. He's maybe the front runner, 2019 Coach of the Year, as we sit here on this August. Look at him. There he is, the great Captain Eric Albarracin. Always stylish. How are you, Eric?
And you always know how to get me started at the beginning of the show. Maybe the front runner.
Listen.
Who else got 4 belts right now?
That's true. You're killing it. And a big fight for your guy, Paulo
4
Costa.
And we got the #1 title coming up right now.
Yes.
#1 title contender in my eyes.
Listen, I can't anoint someone, the winner in August. I don't feel like that's fair, but I feel like, there's Eugene Behrman out in Auckland. There's other people doing great things, but you're certainly on everyone's radar. So good on you. By the way, this outfit is phenomenal. What do we got here? What are we wearing? What is this jacket?
Oh, you know me, I'm Gucci. Come on, all the way down to the shoes.
Look at this guy. I'll tell you what, most stylish coach. You can win that award in August, no problem. So yes.
I just got off the plane. We just got off the plane, 24-hour flight, Paulo and I, from Belo Horizonte, Brazil. And we just arrived, so I haven't even changed.
Wait, you wore that on the plane?
Yeah, it's kind of cold down there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I flew through Chile where it's real cold.
Okay. So I can't wait for this fight. I feel like it's flying under the radar because of the top 2 fights, but I love it. And I love the symbolism of you. Again, I've told this story before. We've talked about it. 2011, I'm in Rio. My flight gets canceled. I go to Big Nog's gym. You write on a piece of paper, Yoel Romero, the Olympian. This man's going to be a future UFC champion. You were that high on him. I had not heard of him back then. Now you're coaching your guy against him. Is this fun for you? Is this kind of like a dream scenario?
Yes, it is. A lot of people keep asking me, is this what you wanted? Really, they're asking about being so busy and traveling and getting all these big fights. And I'm like, listen, I was begging for food. Now I can't complain that my plate is full. So this is what I want. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted, to fight the best. And in my eyes, Yoel already won the world title. I think he is the world champion. I think he won that last fight. 3 knockdowns. I think he is the best 185-pounder that Paulo can fight right now. I think this is like, I've been treating this like a world title fight.
Well, the stakes are definitely big. I would imagine for your guy, he wins, he's the #1 contender, right? There's no getting the winner of Adesanya Whitaker. Is that how you view it?
And we'll knock that guy from Auckland right out of the picture. Whoever you said from Auckland, he's out. We're coming after Auckland's in New Zealand. So I assume that's Israel's coach. So we'll go after him next if Israel wins.
Right. You're talking about Eugene Behrman, who's his coach at City Kickboxing. But this fight, for me, feels like a very personal one. Like, they don't like each other. They've said a lot of things about each other, Costa and Romero. How has Paulo been? Because I feel like no one's really, no one's really riled him up in his UFC career thus far, but things have been said here. Do you feel like he's more emotional? Do you get the sense that this means a little more to him this time around?
Yes, I've seen him extra focused, practicing, doing everything that he needs to do, relaxation techniques, breathing techniques, mindfulness techniques on top of the of training, the hard training that he does every day.
I would imagine, even though English isn't his first language, he's aware of people accusing him of being on PEDs and things like that. Does that stuff bother him?
I think it does, but I think he's kind of just gotten sick of it, where he just doesn't even pay attention to it anymore. He just considers them like haters, social media trolls or something. So kind of just doesn't allow it to affect him.
Okay. Does he read that stuff? Do you find him on his? I mean, it's hard to escape the trolls these days, right? Because it comes right to your phone. You have to tell him to knock it off.
And he's on his phone 24/7. So I have no idea what he's looking at when he's on his phone. So no, I haven't told him.
He's on his phone too much, though. You're saying it sounds like me and my kids.
Most MMA fighters, at least the ones that I'm with,
right?
They're always on their phone.
What are they doing on their phone? Just looking at stuff?
I mean, they could be scouting fights. That's what I do on my phone.
Sure. Yes, you are. You're one of the quickest repliers of anyone out there. When I send you a text, literally within 0.5 seconds, you're on there. It's incredible. We obviously haven't seen Paulo in quite some time. It's going to be 13 months by the time this fight happens that we last saw him. A little over 13 months. Are you worried about quote unquote cage rust? Him trying to feel things out. Also for Romero, it's been quite some time. 14 months since his last fight. Are you worried at all though about your guy and just the inactivity over the past year?
No, he's been training. Watching him in the cage, it doesn't look like he's lost a step. So I'm planning on that transitioning right into Saturday night. He doesn't look like he has any rust. He's young, so we have that advantage, even though Yoel's like a freak of nature, or he is a freak of nature. So, I'm hoping a 42-year-old Yoel Romero shows up. I always say when you start getting into your 40s, from one fight to the next, you could actually fight your age. And we've seen that happen a few times in MMA where one fight, the 40-year-old, 45-year-old looks like he's 25, and the next fight he looks like he's 45. So, hopefully the age factor affects him more with the rust than it will us.
What's the key to beating Yoel, in your opinion?
Wow. Being unpredictable, not falling for his unpredictability. He's very unpredictable. And staying calm and don't panic. Champions don't have panic buttons. Something's always usually in a fight with Yoel Romero, but almost in every big fight I've ever been in, there's always drama. For some reason, whether it's getting kicked to the kicked in the groin or getting poked in the eye or knocking a guy out in 32 seconds, and the people think it's not, it was stopped too slow, or going in there with a broken ankle. A lot of stuff happens. So there is no panic button when it comes to being a champion. And that's staying calm and composed in this fight is one of the keys.
Like you said, about champions. Henry Cejudo, double champion. Patricio Pitbull, double champion in Bellator. I have to ask you about Henry. He's now calling out Valentina Shevchenko, intergender championship. What do you make of this guy? Has he gone too far? Has it taken over him, the gimmick, the cringe? Or is this great? Do you love this sort of thing?
I've been in Brazil for like 3 weeks. I can't claim anything he's doing now. No, I'm kidding. But you know what? Henry's doing his thing. I think I tweeted somebody. I was like, hey, he saved the flyweight division his last fight. You don't think he knows what he's doing? He's probably trying to get a date with Valentina for all we know if she's single. He's just trying to get on the board.
He's incredible. He's so entertaining. I'm really enjoying him these days. He's very funny. He's talking about Frankie Edgar, all this stuff. If it was up to you, obviously we have some time, right? Because he's probably not coming back till January, February with the shoulder, right?
Right.
Okay, so if it was up to you, who would you like to see him fight next, and in which weight class?
You know, I like that beef that Uriah and Hit had going. To tell you the
Okay.
truth. Just because it's fresh. Uriah's, a legend. He's the one that put these little guys on the map when he was over in WEC. He's a pioneer, so Henry's on a legend ass beating tour. So I think that would be a good one. Frankie's another legend, but Frankie's coming off a loss, and he probably's gonna have a fight already, at least a fight by the time Henry's back. So we don't know what's gonna happen there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Dana White wants him to fight Joseph Benavidez. Let's see what happens when Henry's shoulders 100%. How's his body? Did he put on more muscle? Did he lose muscle? Is he small? Is he in the 40s? Is he in the 150s? I think that's going to play a factor.
So I know the first thing that people are going to say is, what about Aljamain Sterling? You didn't mention him. What about Petr Yan? You didn't mention him. You're talking about all the old guys. What would be your response?
Mm-hmm. Henry's got 2 belts now. You got to think he's like the face of the UFC right now. Olympic gold medalist, 2 champs. He was trying to get another belt. I don't know. That still could be in the future. I think, Henry wants big fights, and I don't blame him. He's been competing since he was at this highest level, since he was a sophomore in high school. So, kind of like George Masvidal. He's saying, I want big fights. Henry wants big fights. George Masvidal can turn down Leon Edwards. Why can't Henry turn down one of those other 2 guys that haven't been at the top of the game for as long?
You guys still talk about 145? That's a real thing?
I thought it was. When Frankie had a chance when he was still at 45 and win a belt, because I thought it was because of the size. Henry can fight any of those guys, but we wanted a legend, a former champion, a guy that's fighting in all different weight classes, and that was Frankie. And I think that's what intrigued us about that fight at 145. So yeah, but anything can always happen. Someone else jumps up, and we still got the belts, and we don't want to go for a third one. Someone comes in that we think is a good match, a good fight. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we trained Patricio Pitbull. Patricio Pitbull is really a 135-pounder in my eyes, and he's a 155-pound champ in Bellator, lightweight champ and featherweight champ. So I think both those guys can. I think Patricio can go down to 135, and Henry could maybe even go up to 145 one day for the right matchup for a belt. Break the mold.
Henry has talked about, like, hey, this is all well and good, but for my next fight, I want to get paid. If not, I'm giving up the titles. Is he just saying that, or has he said to you privately, like, it's time for me to get paid, or else I'm not interested in doing this anymore?
No, he hasn't talked about. We really don't talk about those kind of money wise. We mostly talk about who we're gonna fight, executing the game plan for the fights, just things like that. But as far as giving it up, I doubt Henry wants to leave this sport the undeniable GOAT.
Yes. The go to the fighters, the go to the cringe, all that stuff. It's great. Whatever he's doing, he needs to keep it up. Does it bother you guys? Like, if Pitbull was in the UFC with the same belts, the same accolades, way more people would know who he is. Now, like, I saw him at, I think, 239. He's walking around and, like, no one really recognizes him. Does that bother you?
A little bit, because I know deep down he could beat all these guys.
Right.
I know. I mean, people people just think, oh, he's in Bellator, he can't be good because you have to be in the UFC to be good. That's not true. I mean, I got Bellator fighters, UFC champions, Bellator champions, one fighters, all in the same room. They all train with each other. They're all, you see who's win and how well they could do against those guys. So yeah, I'd put Patricio Pitbull at the top of the totem pole, top of the heap at 145. And he could beat at 155. He would give trouble to a lot of those guys. I think 145 would be his best weight, but he could definitely be a bad matchup for any of those guys at lightweight as well.
Let's end on Paulo. How does he win on Saturday, in your opinion? How do you envision it?
Knockout.
Knockout. Damn. Really?
Knockout. We're gonna, I think both chins are gonna be tested. But go to the younger guy. Plus, we've been getting ready for this for a long time, for a while, and who better to do it against than one of the greatest, to me, probably the greatest MMA wrestler, the guy with the most credentials, the guy that everybody was scared of in the Olympics and the World Championships. This is a great challenge for me, and an honor to help Paulo prepare for this fight.
Well, I appreciate you doing this, Eric. I know you just flew in, probably a little tired, but I just wanted to get your insight before this one. It's going to be special. I'm really looking forward to it. Good luck to you and Paulo, and hopefully we'll see you out there, and keep on being the stylish coach. But I will confidently say 2019 Stylish Coach of the Year, Captain Eric, and maybe if things continue to go your way, the more important one come December.
Saturday, I'm locking it down. Saturday.
That's
done.
it? All right. Fair enough. All right.
I believe so.
I look
we
forward
got more
to it.
fights. Patricio Pitbull's fighting Juan Archuleta. Leandro Higo's fighting AKA's Sean Bunch on the same day. Patricky's fighting in Japan in the Grand Prix. We got a lot of stuff coming up. So this year's, it's about to get crazy. My first 6 months is crazy. This next 6 months is crazy. And the next 6 days,
Yes.
UFC 241 on ESPN. Don't forget to get that pay-per-view. Go through ESPN Plus.
Oh, look at you. Wow. Did my boss tell you to say that? By the way, Patricky Grand Prix, what are you talking about? What is that?
Rising.
What's
He's
that?
getting borrowed to Rising in October.
Really? I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
Tell us
He
more.
wins that. If he's in the lightweight tournament.
Whoa.
Rising's gonna do a lightweight tournament.
That's
And
fun.
you know what? I'm not sure if it's gonna be more than one fight in one night. It might be.
Wow.
It might be the old school style, but it's definitely Pride Rule style. Because,
Who's he fighting?
We don't know yet.
Okay.
It is Pride Rule style, but what was funny is I was in, not only was I training Paulo, I also shot out to train the Pitbull brothers a couple weeks ago while I was in Brazil, and Patricky comes in with this DVD, old school DVD from like the early 90s of shoot box, like Vanderlei Silva, Shogun Rua, and those guys. And I guess they made a DVD about soccer kicks.
Wow.
And I was like, what is that? I go, you're watching DVDs? It's like, yeah, it's old school. It's teaching them how to do some soccer kicks. So he's preparing for that.
Okay. I'm looking
It'd be
forward to that.
exciting.
That is great. Thank you for doing this, Eric. Good luck to you on Saturday. We'll see you out there.
Okay, we'll see you. You're a mensch.
All right. Thank you very much. There he is, Captain Eric, with a shout out to the honorable mention, which comes out later today on my Instagram. So that's the story about Romero Costa. Now let's talk about Diaz Pettis. Let's not make this man wait any longer. He's got a class to teach in a matter of moments. So let's say hello to the great Duke Rufus, who, of course, is the head coach for one Anthony Pettis. Thank you for doing this, Duke. I appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. My pleasure. It's always exciting to be on there. Want to be a mensch, don't want to be too mashugana, and let's get to it.
This is amazing. I love it. Everyone's speaking Yiddish. This is incredible. So I have to say, I'm so excited about this. Like, I can't properly, put into words how excited I am about this matchup. Pettis, Diaz, 170 this Saturday. And I can't stop thinking about when I had Anthony on the show maybe 2 months ago, right after this fight was announced. I have never heard him speak like this about a fight before. And this was 2 months ago, how they didn't like each other, how it was personal, all this. Usually Anthony's pretty calm, cool, and collected, but this was different. Could you tell us what he's been like in this camp? Do you sense that this is a bit of a different one for him?
This is a special one. I got to tell you, I want to thank Nate Diaz for bringing out the best in Showtime. Thank you
Wow.
very much, Nate. I appreciate that. This has been the best training camp of our career, and we've had some special ones when he beat Benson Henderson, when he destroyed Donald Cerrone, when he destroyed Joe Lauzon. He's that guy again. We've had a lot of bad timing, bad injuries, different things that were, set him off course. He's gotten very healthy. He's 100% healthy again. Back at next level where J.J. Watt was manufactured. Anthony Pettis is a dangerous man when he's healthy to be able to do strength and conditioning along with his training. And, he's very innovative for this fight, creative, a lot of fun, and just about that life, ready to do the business Saturday night.
So, I've been doing this a long time, and you often hear someone, a coach, a fighter before a fight say best training camp. When you say that, though, I believe you. I really do. How is this different? Why is it different? Why does this feel like the best training camp? He was the champion. He's had some amazing performances back in the day. Why is this one different?
Well, that's what makes this sport special. You got to keep having amazing performances. There is no destination in fighting. You win the title, you got to defend the title. You lose the title, you got to win the title again. You got to be great again. And he just motivated himself to be great again. We're the most congruent we've ever been our whole career together as fighter and coach. It's just been a fun experience. Worked hard. It's been a pleasurable and painful camp, but pleasurable for him, painful for me. But incredible experience. It's a great time here. Anthony Pettis, he's still a young 32 years old. That's the same. I was there when Anderson Silva made his debut in 2006 at 32. Still a lot of greatness and a lot of fight left in my man, Anthony.
Why painful for you?
Man, his legs are back, his kicks, the Pettis Kwando is in the matrix again. I mean, he's been kicking me from post to post all over the octagon. It's going to be a great fight. I love the Diaz brothers' fight style, their mentality. Got a lot of respect for them, gentlemen. But at the end of the day, I'm not there to love them. I'm there to help my guy beat them. And I just think Anthony has too many weapons, and he's going to show it on Saturday night, and he's very excited to be unleashed. I can't wait to let him off the chain.
Has he told you why this is so personal, why he feels this way about Nate?
For years, Nate's just attacked him, not only verbally, but even in a nightclub. They tried to jump him and Nick. It's just, it gets to a point where stuff just boils over, I get the perspective where Anthony's coming from. To me, Anthony reminds me a lot of Oscar De La Hoya or Sugar Ray Leonard. He's that star fighter. He's got that charisma. And a lot of guys just, it's not even, professional. It's more, these guys are jealous, envy of him. And it causes a weird energy, But like Fernando Vargas tried to bully De La Hoya knocked him out. Like Duran tried to do it twice against Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard put it on Duran the second time, and like Mayorga tried to do to Oscar De La Hoya. So many guys try and bully Anthony. I love it because that brings out the best in Anthony. Looking forward to it, and it's just sometimes fights are personal. Those are the fun ones, if you ask me.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. When it's a true personal grudge match, it's phenomenal. Not a fabricated one, and this one certainly doesn't. Nothing when it comes to Anthony or the Diaz brothers is fabricated. And you said do you get that impression that you hear Nate talk about the Wheaties box and all that? Do you feel like he is jealous of his success, and that's part of the issue here?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just directing his energy in the wrong way. If that's what he needs to motivate him, God bless him. It's just like, every fighter has a different brand and a different, you know what? If you want to get in the Wheaties box, behave better, do different things. If you want the opportunities that Anthony has, do what Anthony's done. Nate's a great fighter, but has he jumped off the fence and won a world title that way? Has he, won world titles? Has he, right now Anthony's on a 4-fight post-fight bonus streak. In the title run, we had a 4-fight bonus streak going on. Andy was 2013 submission of the year. Go read Anthony's stats, 11 post-fight bonuses. The guy's posted a lot of stats quietly. We've had some downtime, but if you keep looking at, he's consistently being impressive all the time.
All right, so we have this opportunity. It's a big fight. There's a grudge match, but it seemed like the key to it all had to be at 170. Nate doesn't want to go down to 155. How do you feel about Anthony again at 170? Because we weren't even quite sure after the win over Wonder Boy if it was just like a one-off. He's sticking around. How do you feel about it?
This type of fight, stylistically, Nate's not known to be a big wrestler, shooter, aggressive. They're the same size guys. I love this fight at 170. It's a huge advantage for Anthony. I think he's 5 pounds overweight right now, which means he's in incredible shape. He's mobile, he's agile, he's hostile, he's versatile. As the great Bear Bryant said, those are the traits to be a great middle linebacker. Those are all the great traits to be a badass fighter.
Is this eventually, though, do you want to see him go down to 155? Or if he wins this one, now we're just going to stick with it?
You know what? We're just going to keep taking it as it comes. What matchups are there that interest the fans, the UFC? What gets Anthony motivated to get up and grind every day? I would like to see, the other fight that's looming out there. I think this is going to pique a lot of interest when Anthony does the business Saturday. I see him and Conor McGregor being on a collision course. I think that it's definitely going to get Conor's attention when Anthony beats a guy that beat him and another guy that he won by close decision, especially if Anthony does what I think he's capable of doing, stopping Nate Diaz.
And so I actually heard that they were trying to make that fight back in July 27th card, but Conor got injured. They couldn't come to terms. Pettis versus McGregor. So is that accurate?
Yeah,
did you hear the same? He brought that up on my show.
No, it was August 31st. The Garden was booked, so it just ended up not working out.
Oh.
So I love that fight. A lot of respect for Conor. My dad's mother is of Irish descent, so I'm very connected to the Irish scene. I think it would be really cool to be a part of it. But at the end of the day, I think Anthony's just trying to get those big challenges on the way out the door of his career. Come on now. I mean, that is Anthony was the Conor before Conor was Conor. The kid with the flashy suits, the look, the style, the pizzazz, and he could fight like that. So, it would be the makings of quite the super fight. But we're not going to count our chickens before they're hatched.
Right.
We got one big chicken ahead of us Saturday night. Not literally a chicken,
yes.
but he's a tough dude. You got a big challenge in Nate Diaz. I got no ill will towards the kid. He's a tough kid. It's going to be a tough fight, but that's why we got into this. You want to be great. You got to take on great challenges, great fighters. That's what legends are made of, and I want to help Anthony go out of this sport as a legend.
True or false, there will not be one takedown attempt in this fight?
False.
Really? By who?
Pettis.
Interesting. He wants to go to the ground with Nate Diaz?
Anywhere, any way.
Wow. So in your opinion, this Nate Diaz hasn't fought in 3 years. You think he'll be a little slower, a little different, a little rustier?
No.
What are you expecting?
No, I think that Nate is a martial artist at heart. I see he's always kicking it with Kron Gracie. I just don't, he loves martial arts. He's in there doing stuff all the time. So I'm not going to buy that narrative that he's ring rust, etc. If anything, I think he might have some new dynamics to his game that, you can't anticipate, but you got to prepare for, surprise attacks, etc. But no, we're going to get the best prepared Nate Diaz. Nate's never backed out of a fight because of an injury, etc. So you're talking about a man who showed a strong mindset. He's going to show up to fight. Otherwise, he wouldn't have booked this fight.
Any concern on your part as Anthony's head coach? You've known him so long that he'll fight too emotionally in there.
We worked on that exponentially, tremendously in this camp.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a very loose, calm Anthony Pettis. You're going to see a guy having a lot of fun. The best thing about failure is you learn to take pressure off yourself. You fall on your face so many times, there's no pressure to win anymore. You know what? There is no more pressure. So you know what? You can go out there and actually enjoy yourself. If you look at the late Muhammad Ali, the run he made at the end of his career, that's after he was beaten by some of the other great champs, and he was able to loosen up and perform even better. Even Anderson Silva, that second run that he made in the UFC after, struggling in pride, failure's a great thing. People don't realize that. When you learn to fail, you learn to start actually being looser, have fun. And a fun Pettis is a dangerous Pettis.
Gosh, you are making me very excited about this fight. By the way, I don't know if this is your intention as a coach. You're not a promoter, but you are. I don't know if I could get more excited. Now I'm getting even more excited. It's amazing. How do you think he wins? How do you envision? Oh, please go ahead.
Just it's the truth, honestly. I mean, I've been able to witness greatness from a dear friend of mine, and I've just seen. I shared a picture today. I was in my brother's corner when I was 21 years old when he was a world champion, live on Showtime with Chuck Norris broadcasting the fight. So I've been witnessing greatness my whole adult life from, legendary champions. And what I see Anthony doing is that type of preparation, that type of mindset, willpower, etc. And, it's just the stars are aligned for him, It's been one big sexy comeback for him, and nothing better than a comeback, right?
Yes. How does he win?
Knockout or submission.
Oh my, submission? Anthony Pettis submitting Nate Diaz? The world might explode.
Well, I remember Ron Kruk interviewed me the day before Benson Henderson fought Anthony Pettis here in Milwaukee, and I called winner by submission. And how did that fight go?
Yes.
Anthony is very dangerous when he is on, when he is in that matrix, when he's Neo, as I call him again, he's very hard to beat at any discipline. If you look at some stats, when he fought Shane Rower, he took Shane Rower down more than Rower took him down in the WEC. When he is on, he's hard to beat. He took Benson Henderson down more in that first fight than Benson took him down. As well, he was the first person closest to submitting Benson in the WC and the UFC. And then, we look at a guy who's never been submitted, Gilbert Melendez. So, I never count Anthony out when his mind is right and when things are going well, when his preparation focused. He's an extremely dangerous guy in there.
Before I let you go, I just want to ask you about last week. Tyron Woodley was on the show saying he's going to go train at TriStar for a bit, and immediately people are like, what does Duke think? And there you were in the comments of my post on my Instagram saying you love this, you're all for this, you love Tyron. So for those that missed it, why are you okay with this? Why do you think this is a good idea for Tyron to go to TriStar for a bit?
Oh, I just think he's been in the grind for so many years. One, I just spent August 3rd, I was in Newark with George. We hung out, caught up. I've known George for years. I know George's original trainer from Montreal. I spent a lot of time there. So I have a great relationship with George. I think he's an incredible martial artist. He's still training, and his energy is so contagious. And I think it's going to help revitalize and re-energize Tyron at this stage of his career. There's a lot of people who contribute to Tyron's success. I'm just one of the voices in the circle. Dean Thomas is a huge influence. Eric Brown at Wildcard Boxing. A lot of people do a lot of the help with Tyron. I just think, anytime you can be with George St. Pierre, I think the world of him, one of the greatest of all time. And, to see someone who's still motivated martial arts wise to keep training and stay fit and be energized, it's very healthy and contagious. I think it's going to be a big benefit for Tyron.
Duke, I really appreciate you doing this. I know you have a class to teach, so good on you, my man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good luck to you guys this week. Safe travels. I can't wait. Thank you for getting me even more excited about this fight. I didn't think that was possible, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thanks so much.
Well, I'm excited. I'm very grateful to be able to coach in these situations of these historic fights. This one's been years in the making. And I got to tell you, even yesterday, I was already nervous about it. Nervous in a good way. I just love it. I think it's going to be, I see some of the fans calling it the people's main event. And it's going to be, these guys are going to deliver. It's going to be an incredible fight. But I'm doing everything in my power and then some to help my man get his hand raised. I appreciate you, Ariel. You're awesome. Thanks for having me. And all you fans, you're awesome too. So many nice people. Let's keep it positive in MMA, keep the martial arts and mixed martial arts, and let's quit being trolls and being cooler. If the cooler the fans become, more people like me will get on here, and I'll share even more background stuff that the fans want. Don't scare us away by being mean to us online.
I appreciate that, and I agree with everything you just said. Thank you so much, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
Cool. See you, brother. Bye.
All right. All the best to the team out there in Milwaukee. A huge, mammoth, massive, gigantic fight coming up this Saturday at the Honda Center in Anaheim, August 17th. There's the main card. Corporate Jake loves the main card, but I'm telling you, undercard's great too. It is phenomenal. I can't wait. 209 versus MKE. Pettis versus Diaz. UFC 241. Oh boy, 5 days away. And now let us turn our attention to our next guest. Wow, look at this. Well. We have come a long way. We started out doing interviews at the Apple Store. Now we're doing interviews via satellite from newsrooms. Look at you. Looking all good.
Hey, listen.
Yes.
I want to make this out real quick.
Okay, please.
This is being taped. We're doing this. I'm sorry. I started over. I was gonna make reference to it being taped, but we can't do that. We can't say it's taped.
It's fine. I don't care.
All right. They're pre-taping this because, I'm sort of a big deal yesterday after the show. No, I'm just kidding. No, man, it's good. We've come a long way from the days of AOL Fan House to now sitting in the ESPN Los Angeles studios. It's a big deal, man. I'm excited.
Yes. I mean, look at you. By the way, are we keeping the beard for the fight? I really like this look.
I like the frosted tips, the little. I feel distinguished with those grays in there. I've never realized how gray I am. Right, I'm really gray lately, so maybe I need to shave it.
Oh, you're not going to keep it? Because I feel like it kind of paints the picture of who you are going into this fight. You're the elder statesman, 40 years old, all that stuff. You were supposed to retire back in March. You stuck around like every other fighter who says he's going to retire. I feel like this is perfect.
No, man, come on, Ariel. You're making me feel bad like I can't stick to my decision.
No, you can't. That's a nice chain you got. Is that new? I saw that on your Instagram yesterday. You got some new bling, as the kids call it.
I got hooked up by Happy Jewelers down in Southern California.
They
hooked me up Cody Garbrandt, Cody No Love.
Wow.
Cody No Love with the hookup. Cody goes, call my guys. I said, okay. They hooked me up.
So this is the biggest question right off the top. Let's address it right away. I'm driving down to do the show. Long drive from my home, and I'm listening to ESPN radio, and I see that you're on, and it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. You're on with Golic and Wingo, and I'm like, man, Daniel sounds really good for being up at 6:30 on the West Coast. And so I asked a couple of your friends, like, man, what time did you have to wake him up? Was it hard to get him up to do these hits early in the day? And they tell me, correct me if I'm wrong, you have never used an alarm clock in your life? You get up on your own? Is this true or false?
My internal clock is the best of all time. Legit, wake up. I was sleeping. I had to get up at 5:45, right? So I was sleeping. I was so tired, and I was sleeping so good. And then something in me goes, 5:45, I should wake up and start getting ready. I mean, it just works. I've never overslept in my entire life. I used to leave my house at 4:45 to go do UFC Tonight to get to a 6:30 flight at the airport. And every morning I would just wake up, no alarm. I've never used an alarm. I have a great inside clock that just tells me when it's time to get up.
You've never been worried that you're going to sleep through it, especially in the morning?
Nah, man, I just wake up. I don't know what it is. It's I'm just laying there. And this morning I was like, okay, it's been too long. I know I've overslept, but then I get up and it was 5:48. And I was like, oh, my alarm was set for 6 o'clock. I had a 12-minute buffer. Seriously, I had a 12-minute buffer. I've got the greatest internal clock ever created in this world.
Of all the things that impresses me about you, that might be it. And
dude, I'm telling you, it's the craziest thing. Now, I've missed flights because I'm horrible for trying to leave too close to time for the flight.
Okay.
But in terms of waking up, I'm always up.
Wow.
I just do it.
All right. So everyone's loving you, of course, as you alluded to, the E60 thing. It was great. It was a big hit. But I actually feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like for the most part, even your hate, even John Jones, deep down, I actually think kind of likes you. That being said, I think Stipe Miocic really doesn't like you. You really truly annoy him. Do you get that impression as well?
I think I annoy Stipe Miocic. I think I annoyed Stipe Miocic after the Ultimate Fighter the first time. I think he's a respectful guy, so he shakes my hand and he says the right things, but I think at his core, he's I can't stand this dude. We're just too different. We're so different from each other, and I'm loud and I'm boisterous and I mess around all the time, and I'm always cracking jokes, and my group of friends are really loud and we're a bit obnoxious at times, and it's not his style, and I don't think he really eat it. Going into the Ultimate Fighter the first time, I think his idea of me may have been different than it was after the show was over because we spent so much time together. You can have an idea of who someone is, and then when you're around them too much, you're like, oh, man, I really don't like this guy. And my idea, Stipe didn't change, but I'm sure after the show, his idea of me changed quite a bit.
You even hung out with him back in the day. Remember you did that show? You visited him in Cleveland. You guys were kind of boys. But now it seems like you really get on his nerves.
I do get on his nerves, but whatever. I don't care. Everybody don't have to like you. Like, what does it matter? Because, I mean, reality is we have to fight, you know, and once we're done fighting, we don't have to be friends. You know, he's got a great family. He's got a life, and he can go live his. I can go live mine, you know, but I respect all that he does for his community and everything, but, I mean, there are some things about him that annoy me, too.
Oh, like what?
Him sitting out this whole time, you know, just kind of being a little bit, I feel like he acted a little bit like a brat. Like, I should get a rematch, you know. I just thought he should have fought again. You know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But you know what? It worked. Now he gets a chance to fight for the title again. So, yeah, you know, there are things that we both dislike about each other. But at the end of the day, I'm not losing no sleep over Stipe Miocic not liking me.
When you say in the promo, like, I want to ruin him, to me, that really cuts deep because I know how losses have affected you. Like, you know about how a loss can change one's life and how it can, quote unquote, ruin you. So when you say that, I feel like that's not just like pre-fight talk. There's like deep meaning to that. Why would you want to do that to someone? Like, why not just beat him? Why do you want to actually ruin him? Like losses have ruined you.
You know, when I lost to Jones that second time, it could have been over. Like, I was crying. I mean, I was done. Like, he had broken me to a point that it was going to be very difficult to pick myself back up. And then all the other stuff happened to where it was like, now you're just kind of back and you got to go back and fight and defend this title like you're supposed to. But the reality is, like, he just sat around. He didn't go back and do what he was supposed to do. He was saying, you know, he was talking about me in a way that just was like, you know, I annoy him and everything. So it's like, you know what, man? Sometimes you get what you ask for. And when you get it and you really get it, like he's going to get it on Saturday, now you got to live with that. And it's going to take a very, very tough man to bounce back from what I do to Stipe on Saturday night.
You think he'll fight you emotionally? Do you think he'll be any... I mean, obviously, the beginning of that fight was actually going his way, and then he fought you too close. You caught him. It fell like right into your lap. But do you think he'll be too aggressive, too emotional because of the way he feels about you in this past year, how it's gone?
I mean, you know what's so crazy? It's like he was fighting well initially in the first fight, but it's because I was trying to get his timing and everything. I mean, not letting him, but I mean, I was just getting started. Like, I lost the first round I lost both first rounds to Rumble Johnson because I got to get the timing. I lost the first round against, I mean, if I didn't almost choke Volkan Ozdemir out, I would have probably lost the first round. You know, I've lost like a lot of first rounds because it takes me a little bit of time to get a guy's timing. And once I get their timing, then I start going. But if you watch that fight again and you watch the beginning, yeah, he was doing well. He took me down. I just got up. He hit me with a couple shots, like, you know. But then as the round went on, we were dead even in terms of significant strikes, total strikes, and I was really starting to take it to him. I mean, so, you know, the sequence right before I knocked him out, I hit him 4 times to, like, him missing twice, and then I knocked him out. It's like, you guys are watching the fight and saying he was doing so well, but that was by design, man. This time I already got his time, and I don't have to wait to go beat him up.
Look at you flexing your detail muscles on us. You're the breakdown
You know how
guy.
it is.
You're the
You know how
analyst
it
guy.
is.
You telling it like it is. I like that. I appreciate it. By the way, how much you weigh right now?
240, like 240.
Any chance
Yeah.
you're below 240 come Friday?
I don't know. Maybe. You know, I'm just kind of doing it as I am, you know. Before, I was heavy, man. I was real heavy when this thing started. When I started after the back surgery, I couldn't train for 5.5 months. I wasn't doing nothing. I was heavy. Over 260 pounds, you know, fat. Look at those, look at the E60 clips. Those T-shirts I were wearing were like spandex. Those are not spandex shirts. Those are double extra large shirts. They just fit me like rash guards. But yeah, I've gotten smaller than the first fight because I anticipated going really long. You know, I didn't train yesterday and I weigh like 240, so maybe I'll be a little bit lighter. I know when I fought Josh Barnett, I was 237, 236, and I fought 5 rounds with no problem.
So you had the back issue. You went under the knife in late December. The hand issue, things. I mean, you told us in November prior to the Lewis fight, you sneezed and your back went out. I know this is sort of like that cliche question, but if you could be honest with us, how has this camp gone? You're 40 years old. The body has taken a lot of damage. Any issues? Are you worried about anything? Are you beaten up? How are you feeling?
You know, Ariel, in the beginning, it was very difficult. Like I said, I was super heavy. Guys were competing with me like that weren't supposed to. They were landing more strikes. My head wasn't moving. I was like, wow, you know, if this doesn't change at week 7, you know, we may not be able to do this anymore. And I have no problem saying, okay, I'm done. You know, like if I couldn't have got through my training camp as the way I was supposed to, I just say I'm done. You know, call the UFC and say, you know, I'm going to retire and give up the belt and just go my merry old way. But as I started to get a little bit smaller, I started to do a little bit better, and then I was doing better and better and better, and now I just feel great. You know, I feel like myself. You know, these last 7 weeks, 6.5, 7 weeks have been absolutely perfect. But I had to start really early. I started like 13 weeks because honestly, it took me 6 weeks to even get in good enough shape to be training at the level that I needed to train. So I would have walked away if it didn't pick up. I would have pulled out of the fight and just walked away. Did all the other things I'm involved with.
True or false? This is your last pro fight.
You know, the reality is I don't want to set. So here's the deal. I said I wanted to be done at 40. And I said if March 2nd would have been that 40-year-old birthday was the 20th, I would have probably been done. This fight can be the last fight because I wanted to make the walk again. So I'm making the walk again. I'll win the fight this weekend and I'll just see what happens. You know, but the reality is if I got to walk away from this thing after this Saturday, I'm okay with it. You know, I've accomplished so much. My family's so excited about the prospects of me being around more. Everybody makes a big deal about all the things I juggle. But the moment that I'm not fighting anymore, that opens up a big space for me to spend with my kids and my wife. So the other side looks good too. But right now I need to be focused on this weekend. So
you haven't decided yet? Is that fair? Are you leaning in one direction or the other?
You know, I did that in the Olympics in 2008, and I said, this is the last time I'm ever going to get on the scale at 211. You know, so it don't matter how I feel. I don't want to say this is the last time I'll step in an octagon, because then what if it's like win, lose, or draw? You know, you start giving yourself options and outs. I don't want to do that to myself. I just got to go fight Stipe Miocic and beat him again.
Do you enjoy the journey as much? Like I
love it.
Okay, so there was no part of you that's like, oh, let's just get over with this.
Ariel, when I get done with this thing, Ariel, like I'm gonna still be able to compete with these guys. I'm not gonna walk away because I can't compete anymore. I'm gonna walk away because I feel it's time and I want to leave my legacy intact. I want my legacy to be and my memories to be left as they are. You know, me getting my hand raised the vast majority of my career. I don't want to be one of those guys that was this great former champion that leaves on 5, 4, 6, 7 losses. You know, like I can't do that to myself, and I would never put my family through that. I don't want to put my kids through nights where they don't know if dad's going to get his hand raised. They're confident now that their dad's going to win because they've not seen anything else. But imagine if you start losing all the time and that becomes their norm. I'm not doing that to my children and my family. I'm not doing that to my wife. She doesn't need to deal with that.
You're no dummy, though. You know what's coming the moment this fight is over, right? John doesn't have an opponent.
Oh, absolutely.
Dana has said multiple times, like other people have said, I'm kind of thinking being done. And he goes, whenever you start talking about being done, you're done. With you, he says, no, I want a third fight. You know they're coming. They've left him wide open for you. What happens then?
I make a decision. Again, you know, the ball's in my court now. I decide if I'm going to fight John Jones or I let him continue fighting guys like Thiago Santos and Corey Anderson and those guys. I mean, because ultimately, for him to make the big bucks, we have to fight each other. You know, I've gotten to a point in my career now where the UFC takes such great care of me on the front side that I don't have to sell another pay-per-view in my life. I want to, obviously, but I make so much money now on the front side that it doesn't really matter if I fight him. Before, I was like, I need to fight Jones because I need to make money. I need to fight Jones because I need to legitimize myself. I don't need to do that no more. I'm the heavyweight champ of the world. So I'll make the determination of whether or not I fight him again. And if I don't, then I don't. You'll see me standing on side the octagon, calling fights. You'll see me making a ton of money doing detail. You see me, there are so many prospects for me to be okay financially that I'm happy with. I don't need him. I don't need anyone. So it'll be my decision.
Are you still sticking to the thing where, like, if you do fight him, it'll have to be at 205, or have you sort of bent on that as well?
The fight would be at 205 again. You know, that's one of the prime reasons I would do it, because I would want to try to go and make right what was wrong initially. Maybe if I'm a guy that's going to fight till I was 42 years old, I could fight him at 205, beat him, and then fight him at heavyweight. But it would still be at 205. That's where he beat me at.
Does
Again, another one of my decisions. You know,
Right.
these decisions aren't his.
Does it bother you when they keep bringing it up, when Dana keeps saying that he wants to see this? Like, does that annoy you?
No, it doesn't annoy me. I think everybody does, though. I mean, I did a first take this morning. The first question was about Jones. I think that our rivalry is so big, it defines our career. You know, for as close as Thiago Santos fought him just recently, people aren't going to remember that fight in the history books. They're going to always go back to the times that him and I have fought, you know, because it just means much more because of the level of mixed martial arts that we show whenever we're in the octagon.
He told me recently, like, he's over you, all this stuff. I feel like he actually wants to fight you a third time, even though, like, usually it's the guy who has lost twice that wants it. I'm not saying, you don't want it, but I'm saying, like, I feel like he recognizes he can't make as much money fighting the Thiago Santoses and the Anthony Smiths of the world, that he actually is hoping that you fight him. He just doesn't want to come out and say it. Do you know what I mean?
I know. On the pay-per-view side of things, like, I don't make as much when I fight other guys. I mean, I fought Stipe Miocic and did like 500,000 pay-per-views or something like that. I fought John Jones and we did 900,000 pay-per-views. That's a massive difference in financial revenue. But ultimately, we've gotten it to a point now where when I go to fight, I know every cent I'm going to make, and then everything on top of it is just everything on top of it. But the reality is, we make the most money when we fight each other. I bet if you go and look at those pay-per-views, the two biggest that I've ever had is against him, and I'm sure the two biggest he's ever had was against me. So we'll see.
You're going back to Anaheim. Of course, that's the site of, the knockout loss. Do you feel weird about that? Are you the kind of guy that thinks about those things?
I do. You know, that was one of the reasons I wanted to come back here. You know, I take it a step further. You know, we train at the American Kickboxing Academy in California, and we have not done well in the state of California. You know, we've come to Anaheim and Los Angeles County with 3 belts, and we've lost 3 belts. You know, I lost my belt to Jones. Velasquez lost his belt to Dos Santos, and Rocco lost his belt to Bisping. You know, so I want to come down here and try to make that right. You know, make it to where our future champions aren't concerned about coming down to Southern California because more people from the gym are here, or it just seems like a bigger event. I said, you know, I want to go make this right for me. You know, go down there and win and defend the title. Only guy that's won in a championship fight is Kane the first time. You know, so we've lost 3 title fights in a row down in Southern California. So it's on me to make that right this weekend.
My biggest takeaway from doing the E60 piece with you was getting the opportunity to go to Gilroy. I've never been to Gilroy before. Seeing how much that school, Gilroy High School, that team, your surroundings, your hometown, all that, how much it means to you. Like, I don't think people really realize how much that place means to you and how much that team means to you and the school means to you. And for you to fight essentially 2 or so weeks after a shooting in Gilroy, which I understand is like just a few minutes from where you live, what is that like for you? What is going on in your heart? Do you feel like you are fighting for these people? You have put that town on the map. And for this to happen so soon after a tragedy like that, what is going on in your mind when you think of Gilroy?
You know, it's the most unfortunate thing for, you know, someone to really try to attack the heart of the community. You know, the Garlic Festival is really the biggest thing that happens in Gilroy every single year. And it's a place where you think it's safe. You know, you go to these small towns and you try to live within the confines of safety. And that was interrupted a couple weeks ago. For me, it's an opportunity to go and show the strength of the community of Gilroy. You know, they love me. They love all the fighters from the town now. And there's a hashtag, Gilroy Strong, right now. And I feel like I can go out there and represent my city, my community, and hopefully put on a performance that they're proud of. But the opportunity to go out there in such a high-profile spot after such a horrific incident is, it just seems like, as the biggest name guy in the town, it should be on me to go and try to represent the community in the way that people should remember it, and not for what happened a few weeks ago. So it's an honor and a privilege for me, and I know the whole town's going to be watching, and I'm going to represent them to the best of my ability. But before we move on, you know, the people that were affected, you know, we've said a ton of prayer. The community got stronger. There were so many visuals in Gilroy and surrounding cities. the Gilroy PD reacted so quickly, and they showed how well prepared and well trained they were to go in and deal with the threats so quick. San Jose and all the surrounding communities sent so much force. It was truly amazing to watch the Bay Area come together in such a tough time.
And I know Gilroy means a lot to your good friend Cain Velasquez. What about that pro wrestling debut? If you would have told me 10 years ago that he would be a pro wrestler before you and doing Hurricane Ranas and jumping off the ropes and all that stuff, how is this possible? Where did this come from? Did you think he would look that good?
Man, let me tell you something. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I knew Cain had been training. But the day after the event, Ariel, I texted him, I go, when did you learn the backflip? I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know he could jump in between the ropes and do that jumping arm bar. I was like, jumping arm whip. I was like, wow. I was like, you really have gotten so much better so fast. But what else do you expect from Cain Velasquez? I mean, from the start of his career, it was whatever he wanted to accomplish, he just got done. He had a lot of charisma. I thought it was great. I mean, it was awesome to watch me and Ian and Daniel and everybody in my my house just watching and just cheering Cain on. And I was just so happy for Cain, Michelle, Coral, and Cain. It was just, it's just good to see them doing something that's going to be very lucrative and also something that Cain truly loves.
Any chance you tag team with him? Like, now that he's so good, is this in the works? Are you guys talking about this? When you're done, when it's all said and done, would you like to do one match with him?
You know, I'd love to wrestle with Cain, of course. I love to do anything with, you know, Cain's my guy, man. He's done so much to help me. I got a video that I'm going to put up on my Instagram. It's from 2009, and it's Cain trying to teach me how to fight. It's the most absurd thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like me trying to block this noodle he's swinging at my head, and I look terrible. You know, but he just took me under his wing from the moment I walked into the gym. So anything I could do to try to help with him, I do it. One thing that we are going to try to do at some point is all the guys from Pro Wrestling Revolution in San Jose, the ones that train Cain, maybe we'll like rent out the Gilroy High School gym and do one of those little small shows, and then Cain and I can like do a run-in or maybe do a tag team match or something. That would be fun for me.
I remember back in the day, King Mo and you guys were talking about that back in the day. Remember we had that match, we recreated WrestleMania 6?
We get Mo in there too. We definitely try to get Mo in there because Mo's good.
Yes.
Mo's real good.
He tried out for TNA back in the day, or at least had a cup of coffee with TNA back in the day. Just a couple more minutes before I let you go, DC. I was focusing a lot, obviously, on could this be the last one? Because that's a big deal. Going into a fight, I mean, you could sell us on that. You could probably sell a lot of pay-per-views by saying, this is my last fight, and then walk it back. That's what a lot of fighters do, right? I didn't ask you about Francis. Is there any way you take that fight, or is it Jones or bust at this point?
It's only big fights for me. You know, it'd be Stipe Miocic, and then if I fight again, it'll be Jones. It's not gonna be anybody else. I mean, Francis Ngannou is a very talented fighter, big, strong, tough. I mean, durable. He took some shots from Stipe that were amazing, but at this point, it's gonna be massive fight as this one with Stipe is, or it'll be me just calling the fights, becoming a fan.
You made your debut 10 years ago next month, right? Gary Frazier, Strikeforce Challengers. We were reminiscing about that. Honestly, if I would have told you you'd be headlining UFC's double champ, heavyweight champ, undefeated 10 years later, in 10 years, 10 years not that long, really. It's really not that long. Would you have believed me? Like, have you allowed yourself to sit back and enjoy, if this is the last one, are you allowing yourself to enjoy the roses, smell them, take them in, or are you focused 100% and doing that afterwards?
You know, I think when you take it all in, you need to do that when you have a moment to just truly sit back and reflect. You know, right now is not that time. I do appreciate all that I've been. I never would have imagined. I talk to Bob Cook and Dwayne Zinkin all the time, and it's like a fairy tale. Like, no one ever could have envisioned that this would have gone as well as it's gone. I mean, who's luckier? You know, who's luckier than me, right? I lose to John Jones, and then he gets in trouble, so then I win the belt. Then I lose to him again, and he gets in trouble again, so I get the belt back. And then because I got the belt back and defended the belt, now I get to fight for the heavyweight belt. It's like so many different things that have happened for me that you never could have even wrote into a movie. But ultimately, those opportunities aren't given, they are earned. And I think through a lot of hard work and commitment from my team and Bob Cook and Dwayne and Hav and Roe and Rudy and Camacho and Leandro and all those guys and my teammates, like, we've done some special things, and we've put ourselves in a truly, truly unique situation.
And what a special time for you. I mean, your beloved Pelicans get Zion Williamson. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You guys are killing it. Louisiana's killing it with you. The Saints are back. I mean, it's just a great time.
I mean,
it's
a
unbelievable.
great time to be from Louisiana, man. You know, I got my Saints are back. Dustin Poirier holds a portion of the UFC championship. I got a UFC championship. It's just really, really good. You know, we're lucky. Now, here's the deal. I got in trouble the other day about Khabib because he said, why they ask you this? When they ask you who's going to win out of me and Dustin, you say, oh, Khabib's good, Dustin's good. You don't support me, brother? You don't support me, brother? No, I am solely and squarely in your corner. Khabib Nurmagomedov gets the job done at UFC 242. I love Dustin Poirier, but Khabib gets the job done.
Wow, that is big. I know how much you like Dustin, but that is big. I
Love
expect
Dustin.
nothing less from you. You're a very loyal guy. First, it's 241. It's this Saturday, Anaheim. I can't wait. Yes? One last thing?
Yes, one last thing, Ariel. Hey, thank you for the E60. I thought you did such a phenomenal job. The time you guys spent on telling my story, getting all the footage, going out and doing everything you did. I mean, it is amazing to think that when you called me from the Apple Store in 2009, that at some point you and I would get to do an E60 segment together. I never would have imagined, and I truly would not have wanted to do it with anyone else. I appreciate all your effort. I appreciate the entire team at ESPN and E60. And thank you guys for telling my story in the most complete way that anyone's ever done. So thank you personally,
thank you.
And also everyone else. You did a phenomenal job, man. You've got, hey, your prospects besides MMA are very bright, young man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Big ups to Dan Lindbergh and Chris Tuminello, Carolyn Hong, Andy Tennant, who really made that show what it was, but it was a great experience, and I'm happy that the first one was with you, and I pitched it back in October of last year, and I can't believe it actually aired. It's amazing. So thanks to you, my man. As always, thank you for the time, for being so open on another one. Okay, no, that was just a piece. I thought you had a second thing to say. That was just a piece. I'm not down with the piece. I'm a little slow to all that. I'm old as well. DC, my man, thank you. We'll see you out in Anaheim. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you, Ariel.
There he is, Daniel Cormier, the reigning, defending UFC heavyweight champion, defends his title for the second time against Stipe Miocic this Saturday at 241. How can you not love that man? I mean, what a special guy. It goes down Saturday. I cannot wait. I am tingly, UFC 241, 5 days away. And I have a feeling, I was looking at her from the corner of my left eye. Our next guest is like, all this E60 talk, I did it first. This is old news for me. I did it back in March. I was profiled on E60. It ain't no thing. No big deal. Right, Michelle Waterston? You're not impressed by any of this.
Oh, I am a fan of DC's. I absolutely love him. I think he's a very genuine person, a family man, and an amazing champion for the UFC. So I always love to listen to him talk.
You can't be a fan of DC. You're a Jackson Wink guy. You're not allowed to say that, right?
Why not?
I'm just kidding.
I love John. I mean, we all know how just like Poirier is a fan, just like DC is a fan of Poirier, but knows that
right.
Who wins that fight. I'm a fan of DC, but you know, if that fight does happen, I know that John got it.
Listen, the last thing I want to do is make Michelle Waterston uncomfortable here, so I'm not going to put you in that fight. I was just doing the old, because you opened the door for me there. But it's good to see you, Michelle. Thank you very much for doing this. I know you're very busy as always, so I appreciate the time. We found out late last week, I think around Friday, you versus Joanna. We all kind of knew that, but not San Francisco, Tampa. What happened to the Bay Area?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it's they were working on trying to get that arena put together. Either way, I'm still very excited that the UFC put us on for main event, and I'm stoked.
Last time we spoke to you, though, you were campaigning for the title shot. You wanted to fight Jessica Andrade. You're not fighting for the title. Why not?
You know what? I don't know, and I might have stressed about it for a day, but things like that are outside of my control, and stressing out about it is just a waste of time. So I honestly, since I was signed to the UFC, I've had my eye on Joanna because she was the longest reigning champ, and when I was signed, she was a champ, and so it'd be my honor to be able to fight her in a 5-round fight. In my opinion, this is a championship fight.
I thought Araya was going to come in there and say, nah, enough of that. My mom deserves a title shot. She came in at the exact perfect time, right? She can't hear me probably, right?
Anytime I'm doing interviews, she wants
Yes.
to talk to me.
No,
But
that's fine.
if I'm just hanging out, she's like doing her own thing.
What does she want? What does she want? She can ask. It's okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
What you want, baby girl? Huh?
Nothing important at the moment. Were you
She
disappointed
just wants some
initially?
she just wants some camera time. Yeah, obviously I was disappointed, but the truth is the strawweight division is a very stacked division, and I think that them putting Wadley, I don't think very many people know about Wadley, but she is definitely a contender. And so I'm looking forward to watching that fight. And the more people that the champ gets to fight, the better it is for me because then I can watch them fight and I have more time to scout them out. So I understand everything happens for a reason, and this is my journey. So I'm just gonna ride it the best way I know how.
Do you feel like though you win on October 12th, you beat Joanna, then there's no denying like no campaigning will be needed, none of that. You'll get that title shot?
Absolutely. And I feel like my entire life I've always performed the best when I've had to rise to the occasion, and so this is the perfect moment for me to do so. And also I've always been a kind of walk the walk type of person, and I I tried my talk the talk type thing, and obviously I'm not as good as Conor McGregor, but maybe one of these days.
I thought you were doing pretty well there for a second. I thought you were going to get it. It seemed like all the momentum was in your favor. And then they came out with, no one thought that Weili Zhang was next. And of course, they go to China, so that probably helped her. But I wouldn't sell yourself short on that one. I thought you were doing well. How do you feel about Joanna? She's known for her trash talk. I think some people, it's interesting. The fans have an interesting relationship with her because initially, like, I think everyone loved how brash she was, Joanna Champion. But now I see she kind of gets a lot of hate these days. People say she doesn't take her career seriously. She's posting online too much. She alluded to some of this the last time we had her on the show. How do you feel about her at this stage of her career?
People are gonna hate on you no matter what you decide to do. So Joanna's just gonna be Joanna. If she wants to trash talk, I think it'll be fun. But I appreciate Joanna for the person she is and for the fighter that she is. And that's just not my style. I'm gonna go in there and do the business. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what tactic she decides to take up against me. But I've always had tremendous respect for her. I think that she was able to carry the championship belt for quite a long time, and that's a lot of pressure. If you talk to any champion, they talk about that pressure, and she was able to deal with that very well.
Do you think she's as good today as she was when she was champion?
I think every fighter is a different fighter every time they step into the octagon, and so I do feel like there is kind of a fire lit under her butt because of the losses that she's had to endure, and she's trying to get back into the winner's circle. She's trying to get back into that championship circle, So I do think she's hungry. I'm
Okay.
expecting the best Joanna to be in the octagon when I fight her in October.
I couldn't tell if you were sort of like biting your tongue because you were smiling as you were saying that and you wanted to say something else, but that's what you believe.
I wouldn't ask for anything less than the best Joanna. I do believe that I have the tools, that I have the style to beat her.
Okay. This is a fun matchup for you, right? Speaking of that, so I'm like, this is probably, I don't suspect many takedowns in this fight. This seems like a fun, striking Muay Thai type of fight, correct?
I don't know. That's why I love MMA because you have options, and I I think that I capitalize on opportunities when they present themselves. So we'll see how the fight goes, and it's going to be a 5 round fight. So we could take it all over the place if we want to.
Yeah. Are you hoping Andrade wins? Like, do you want to be the one to beat her?
I don't know. I, I'm not focused on those two ladies. I'm excited to watch the fight, but my focus is on Joanna.
Fair enough. We've talked a lot, by the way, over the years about your mom. You've made jokes, about her and her accent and whatnot. But I noticed on your social media recently that you were with your dad, and we never hear about your dad. If you could just tell us the backstory there, how come we don't hear about him as much, and how did he re-enter your life recently? I saw that nice post that you put up about him just a couple of days ago.
Oh, my dad's always been in my life. He's just he's very soft spoken, he's shy. He kind of takes the back seat and he watches me do my thing, and he's always been very supportive, both emotionally and financially, especially in the early stages of my career when I was doing karate. He would work and allow us to, or pay for us to go do karate tournaments and stuff like that. And he would let my mom be the fire, and he was kind of like that cool element in my life, that um, just that calm voice that I always needed, and he always gave just the right advice when I needed it. My dad was the one that told me not to let anybody get in my way of my dreams. Um, and but it wasn't just that he told me. It was, what I think stuck to me is the fact that he said, "Don't let, not even yourself, don't let yourself get in your way." And I think a lot of us, at points in our life, sabotage our own dreams, and so that has been something that stuck with me for as an adult, and as I go through this journey, trying to get to the belt.
Wow. So with that advice and him, you showing us who he is, and I don't know if introducing is the right word, because I'm sure you've talked about him, but like, that advice is very apropos to what you're going through right now, right?
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. The symbolism there is great. I love it.
Yeah. My my dad's not like, he doesn't, he'd prefer not to go to the fight, but he'd prefer me to do what I love to do, and to get to the top,
Okay. Is he going to go to this one?
Yeah, he said he's gonna try. So we'll try to
Okay.
get him there.
Wow. Has he ever been to any of your fights?
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
couple. Like I said, he's really soft spoken.
Okay. I also remember, and not to focus on the dads here, but I also remember just a couple of years ago we were talking about, I believe your father-in-law, and you were very emotional talking about, I think, an accident that he was in, and that maybe he wouldn't be able to walk. I wish I had the clip, but I also realized, is that your father-in-law that you posted dancing on your Instagram? Did he make a somewhat miraculous recovery?
He's still working on it, but he's in really good spirits. And it's a huge motivation to me. Um, yeah, and it's because of Josh's mom. Like, his dad and his mom they're a power couple, and they can get through anything, really, and it's very inspirational to watch him. But just really to see the smile on his face, just as he's moving, like, that's him. So he's coming back for sure. I think he'll be able to walk by the end of the year.
Wow, that's amazing. Because initially they didn't think that, correct?
Yeah, they told him that.
I'm sorry for making you get emotional, but I was just taken aback because I remember you telling us about the story prior to one of your last fights.
Yeah, they told him that he would probably be paralyzed from the neck down for the rest of his life.
Wow, due to a car accident, correct?
Yeah,
Wow.
he got T-boned, lodged between the two seats in the front.
If you don't follow Michelle on Instagram, you probably do if you watch the show. But if you don't, there's a video. I think it's like your third to last post of him kind of dancing, and clearly, not 100%. But when I saw that, and then I made the connection with his last name and your husband's last name, I was like, wow, is this the same guy? I couldn't believe it. So I was very excited to ask you about that. I'm really happy to hear he's doing well, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, he's a fighter.
Yes, I guess it runs deep in your family, knowing your husband as well. So now we have this opportunity. It's essentially actually 2 months exactly from today, and there's a lot going on. You've got positive images in your life, like your father-in-law, your dad, all this stuff. You also just saw your friend Holly suffer a tough loss. And I'm wondering how she's handling that, and how, I know you guys are so close, as you're preparing for a fight and you see her suffer a setback like that. What does that do to you?
I love Holly because of the person she is in and outside of the octagon. Anytime I've seen her take a loss, she, she's upset. Obviously, it's heartbreaking, and she doesn't shy away from those emotions. And she gives herself time to be upset, but she brushes her shoulders off and she gets right back up and she goes after the things that she wants because she knows how how great she is. And I absolutely love that about her. She is a leader through example. She doesn't have to point the finger. She doesn't have to tell everybody, who she is, why she is, what happened in the fight. She's just dusting her shoulders off and moving forward. And it's a great lesson to learn in life, really. Um, Everybody sees these losses and they start to make these assumptions and they start to feed into the negativity. But life is a series of failures. And if you've never failed in life, you've never tried anything hard enough worth keeping. So you have to learn how to deal with failures in life. And she is just the best example of a human being that I know of.
In your recent fights, you've had opponents who have been very respectful towards you. Carolina, like there's no real issues there. It doesn't seem like, but like Joanna is known for the weigh-ins, the face-offs, getting in your face, things like that. Are you gonna enjoy maybe a little friction before a fight? Does that have a different kind of effect on you?
I think it'll be fun. Um, at the end of the day, people tune in for the entertainment of it, and if she wants to get in my face, we can do it. This mama's not afraid of boogeyman, so
I love it.
you gotta shut him down.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And again, sorry for making you cry. Sometimes it's good to let it all out on a Monday morning in Albuquerque. I have a knack for doing that with you for some reason.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, but great story, and it really is an amazing thing. If anyone remembers a couple of years ago, you on the show talking about that, I know how much it obviously affected your family. So I was really happy to see that, and I'm very happy for you and your husband. So keep it up. Good luck in training, and thanks as always for doing the show.
Thanks, Ariel. Thank you for having me.
All right, there she is, the karate hottie, Michelle Waterson. She returns to action October 12th in Tampa, not San Francisco. Tampa, I'd heard there was a logistic issue, a hotel issue in San Francisco, but they have a new arena there, the Chase Center, home to the Golden State Warriors, that is supposedly amazing, that I suspect will host the UFC event in the not too distant future. It's in the heart of San Francisco, so stay tuned for that. For now, though, let's go to one of the more elusive fighters in the game. He never wants to do interviews. I literally have to beg on my two knees to have this man do an interview with me. And there he is. Ah, yes, our old friend, Mr. Mighty Mouse.
You're such a liar, dude.
My man.
Such a liar. You asked me 2 days ago, can I come on the show? I said, absolutely. I have an appointment. Let me get on in here. Don't be trying to make lies up about me now.
Look at you. For the longest time, you would never do the show like, via Skype or FaceTime. Now you're in the car doing it after a PT session. This warms my heart. This is amazing.
You're a special person. You're a special person. So I got to make time for you, Ariel.
I feel like, can I just say, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, I miss you. You know what I mean? Like, I miss you, DJ. I miss you. I miss your presence, Like now it's tough. 6 a.m. you're fighting, it's tough. I feel like you're fighting so far away. I miss you.
Well, you know what? You're not the first person to say it, and I find it absolutely hilarious. I mean, everybody can still watch me fight, and, I'm still the same dude. Watch me on Twitch, YouTube, and, I mean, wake up a little early. If you don't want to wake up early, just catch the replay on the One Championship app or YouTube, so it's all good.
I say that because I was wondering, because I had seen some people say like, oh, what's DJ up to these days? And I don't know if they're trolling or not, but do you get a lot of people who come up to you and say like, hey, I haven't seen you fight in a while, even though you have fought twice this past year?
No. Everybody knows I'm still active. They just say they miss me.
Oh, really? That you get that too?
Oh, I get it all the time. They say they miss me. I'm like, I'm still, it's different. Like they still see me, but they just say they miss me. I'm like, what does that even mean? They're like, we just miss you. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I'm still doing the same thing I'm doing. It's just over, it's about, I don't know how far it is, about 18-hour flight, but I'm still doing the same thing over One Championship, fighting in a ring or a cage and still doing me. So when they say they miss you, I'm like, you can watch me at One Championship. you don't have to miss me. Just watch it one championship now.
You happy over there? Is it working out?
Oh, it's awesome over there, man. I'm having a great time. I'm fighting. I'm super active. About to fight here in October 13th. You know, the traveling is fun, and I've been enjoying myself.
You like fighting that far away from home?
Yeah, it's different. You know, like I tell everybody, I think every great martial artist in our sport has done both. Like they competed over in Asia and they competed in North America. I'm doing the opposite. You know, I made a name for myself in North America, and now I'm finishing my career in Asia, and I've been enjoying it.
Are you feeling more appreciated over there?
Oh, dude, the fan base over there, it's literally night and day. Like the event in Manila was the production value, the ring, just to walk out, the cheers, like it was amazing. Like I tell you right now, like the flyweight division over there, the Asian culture, the Asian fans, they love it. It's night and day. I'm not gonna lie.
Why do you think it's so different?
Well, I mean, I'm the same height as, you know, half their population, if not the same height, bigger. And you think about it in the mixed martial arts culture in Asia, it's been embedded in them since they were born, doing karate, you know, Kyokushin, so many different martial arts form, and they celebrate, you know, Shuto is a huge thing in Japan. And so even in, you know, the Philippines, which is, you know, the Team Lakay guys, there are a big movement over there in the combat sport area, and we're all like the same height. Granted, there are some bigger guys like Edward Falong, Kevin Bellingham, but we're all the same height. You know, over here, I was walking to the airport in Atlanta, and dude, these guys are like 6'2", 6'4". I was like, I bet you right now, these people might think I'm a child traveling on my own.
By the way, you're not driving right now, right?
No. I'm in a parking lot. I'm not driving. I would never do that.
But you know what I respect about you? You still have your seatbelt on. Amazing.
I do. Hey, you know what? You never know. Some homeboy come hit me behind or in front of me. So yeah, it's a good habit to have. Always wear your seatbelt.
You're such a great influence. You're such a great role model that I feel like you were trying to tell the world. If I'm in my car, I'm wearing my seatbelt no matter what.
Always, man. Always.
Do you get people like, okay, so there's something about like the height and all that, but do you sense that the Asian fans like for whatever reason, and maybe it is because of the same side, like just appreciate MMA martial arts in a different way than we do here in North America? You know, I've heard about the clapping and they don't react the same way. I've only been to one show in Asia, but do you get that sense now fighting there twice?
Yeah, I've always sensed that even when I gone over to Asia to watch fights that I haven't competed in. When I was in Singapore and I watched, you know, Bibiano fight Kevin Bellingham, they were, you know, respectful. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while you're going to get, you know, some person in the crowd that's drunk. Last time I was there, the person who was drunk yelling out profanity, he was Aussie, so he doesn't count as, you know, Japanese or a Filipino fan. But I just feel more respected over there.
How about fighting at 135? Because you are fighting as a flyweight, but because of the weight cutting rules and whatnot, you're technically fighting as a bantamweight, correct? How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I mean, I don't have as much. It's kind of weird. I don't have as much trauma to the body cutting down to 125 because I'm fighting more my natural weight. Right now, I'm walking around 138, and I'm not even training. And so with me getting down to 135, I'm eating four or five meals to make the weight class. I mean, the biggest thing that I have to get used to is the physics of the other athletes. Like, you know, when I fought Tatsumiki Wada, he was so much longer than I was. When he got my back and he got that body triangle, I was like, damn, your legs are long. Like, I'm in the middle of the fight. I'm not worried about getting choked out. I'm like, God damn, these some long ass legs. And my little ass legs can't get them untangled. So that's the only thing I had to be more aware of is these guys are just taller than I am. Instead of fighting five guys in North America when I was at 125, they're 5'2", 5'3".
Right. Okay. So if I heard you correctly, did you say you're 138 right now?
Yeah.
So wait, are you literally cutting 3 pounds, 3 to 5 pounds? Like you're not even in camp right now.
Yeah.
So you literally have to do no weight cutting whatsoever anymore.
No.
Wow. That's incredible.
Even when I fight at 125 in America, I mean, I've always been this size. Even when I fought Dominic Cruz for the 135-pound belt, like I'll come home from training camp, weighing like 137, 138. So when I fought at 125, I would never get over 140, 142, if that. And I've had surgeries and haven't been able to train. And the highest I've ever been was probably 146, 147. But once I would be active and move around, the weight would just come off. So I'm a naturally small guy. So I'm at this point now in my career where I'm not focused on, trying to suck the weight and be the biggest dude in the division. Like I'm 32 years old. I'm past the point. I've done a lot of amazing things in my career. Now I'm focused on obviously winning the tournament and try to attain, the one flyweight belt. But I'm not gonna, oh man, these guys are 5'8", 5'9" now. I don't want to fight guys who are taller than me. I don't want to suck the 125, and I can't make 125 fully hydrated. Like I'm not gonna put myself through that. I'm too old to do it.
2 tough wins, 2 tough fights. Wada was tough, went the distance. Are you surprised by the competition and I have a feeling you're going to say no, so I'll ask it this way. Are you disappointing yourself? I saw you say afterwards, I expect more from myself. How would you assess your performances?
Okay, so here's I'll give you 3 things. And I thought about this because I knew you were going to ask me that. So
okay.
One, I feel that over in Asia, I feel that the athletes I've been competing against so far, I feel like they've been doing it a lot longer than I have. That's just the way not that I've been doing. The way I think of it is like when I fought Wada, I can tell he was seasoned. I can tell he was experienced. I can tell that he was game. Like when I went and I was fighting him and I was trying to throw him up and do the Mighty Wiz bar, he did the easy technique to nullify it. And I was like, and I'm gonna post a video on YouTube about after the fight. We sat down and we talked about what we did against each other, what was successful for him, and what shocked me about him as well.
Wow.
So I knew I was gonna have tougher fights because it's no joke. Like every single person I fight has been a champion in somewhat form in a big organization of Japan. Tatsumito Wada was a 3-time deep champion. All the guys I fought in the UFC, they were probably never champions inside a big organization outside of the UFC or never been a champion, if that makes sense. When I fought Yuya Wakamatsu, he was a tournament champion. So he won the flyweight tournament championship. So these guys have been to the battles. They've won, they've lost, they fought the best of the best. Now for me, I just got to get used to fighting these guys. And I just feel they're more seasoned. Like they understand what's going. The 2 guys I just fought, like Wakamatsu and Wada, they felt seasoned. They felt like they knew what they were doing. So when I fought Wada, the reason I was kind of, I just couldn't get my game going. Like I was in there, and with Matt not being in my corner, and like I kind of taken on this, not this renegade role, but this kind of role where it's like, okay, now I'm training, and it's me and my teammates. We're going through this. And now, like, I'm actually like processing what's going on in the fight, which I don't think it's a bad thing. It's kind of like my development as an athlete. So when I'm fighting, Wada, and he got the underhook, I'm like, okay, you can stay there because I'm banging out the stomach. I'm winning the clinch battle. And then when he got my back, and I was like, you sly son of a bitch. Good for you. Now let me focus on getting you off my back. Instead of like, oh my God, he's gonna choke me out, get him off my back. I'm like talking myself through the process. And when I go back to the corner and James will give me, the correct information I need to do, like I'll be like, I'm gonna use that, but I'm gonna see what else is gonna happen. So, but I just think they're seasoned over there. Like they've competed in like the best Japan's organizations.
How are you handling not having Matt Hume in your corner for these past 2 fights? What's it been like?
It's been a learning process, but I feel it's something that I'm glad I get to experience. It might sound weird, but I don't know. It's different. Like we still train. Like even leading up to this fight, we trained every single day. He oversaw training, and I think it's a great development period because sometimes in training, Matt's like, you got to learn for yourself. You got to teach yourself how to work through problem situation. And before this fight, before I went out there, he goes, all right, get out there, find your distance, solve the puzzle. And once you solve the puzzle, execute it, like finish. And that's what I was trying to do. Like the first round took me a while to solve the puzzle. And, the second, third, I started getting my wits about me and I was able to apply my game, but I still wanted to finish. Like I go out there and I want to finish. I train too hard to not finish, if that makes sense.
When does the communication end?
Oh, it ends like the day. I mean, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5 hours before the fight. So
okay, so
yeah, it's not like yeah, we're still seeing each other throughout, the competition week, and we spend so much time together that I know what I need to do when I go out there. So it's not like when I'm in training camp, leading up to this next fight, it's not like I'm not going to see Matt for 6 weeks and then go fight. I'm going to see him all the way up to event night. And then, then it's like 15 minutes. We can't communicate.
And so recently he's drawn some criticism. One's drawn some criticism for like a conflict that he's a coach, but also an executive there. Is that fair or unfair in your opinion?
Ask that one more time. I'm sorry. Criticism. I don't think there's, I don't think there can, because he can't fight for me. Right. Like,
no, that maybe you're going to be put in favorable matchups or anything. I'm just curious if, I'm sure you've heard this, right? Oh, your coach is an executive.
No,
you haven't.
No, I haven't. No, because typically he doesn't, get to pick, like, he doesn't do all that stuff. It's Richard, which is his one of the other guys who handles all like the battle agreement and stuff. And at the end of the day, imagine if people could say that, but at the end of the day, he can't, fight for me. Like, he can't get in a ring or cage and fight for me. So if I was to become the world champion or in this tournament, we had some killers in this tournament. You had Kairat Akhmatov on the other side. You had Yuya Wakamatsu, who just knocked out the former one flyweight world champion, Jay Eustaquia, with one punch. Tatsumi Tawada, 3-time deep champion. That was a tough fight. So somebody said, dude, you're having tougher fights over here than you did in North America. And I was like, yeah, because you guys over here are legit. Like, they're tough. They're good. They're seasoned. Like, I didn't expect anything less. I didn't come over here with a big head or, think I was going to go blow right through these guys. These guys are legit. A fight's a fight. So when people are like, oh, you're getting, that's the first time I heard him say that. But no, I don't see that's the case at all. I think all the matchups I'm getting are tough, and I'm doing the best I can to out there and put these guys away.
You ever look at all the drama back here and say, oh, man, I'm so happy.
I laugh at it.
You love it, right? You're like, I'm so happy I have nothing to do with this anymore.
100%, man. 100%.
You feel free?
I've always felt free, just in my own mind. But I just look back at it and just think that, that's what athletes have to do to get attention or whatever. And I'm glad I never taken that step to go to that point, I guess you can say.
What do you think? Did you see this video of Henry calling out Valentina Shevchenko?
I saw some videos of it. Somebody goes, what the hell is an intergender division? I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And then he goes, look at this. And he showed me, and I was like, Triple C doing what he does best, getting everybody's attention.
How do you feel about him? The cringe, calling people out?
I like it, man. You can't hate on Triple C. What Triple C's done, nobody in this sport of mixed martial arts has been able to do. So you have to give the man the respect that he needs. And, he's doing what he's doing.
But he mentions you a lot. He said you bent the knee. You lost.
I didn't bend nothing. At the end of the day, he's going to say these things, and that's fine for him to say it. Did he beat me? Yeah, he beat me. And, I move on past it. I don't dwell on the past. I keep it moving. I keep on, building my legacy, doing good things in my career. So if he wants to say I bent a knee, that's fine. What do you want me to say to that? Like, okay.
Before it's all said and done, does a third fight have to happen? Do you want that to happen?
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not. That's the thing. A lot of people ask me that about Kyojo Horiguchi, the Dominic Cruz, shit, hell, even the Brad Pickett. A loss is a loss. You know what I mean? Like, that last fight when me and him fought, I've been beaten a lot worse, right? Like, if you look at my first fight against him, where I blew the bricks off him, absolutely. And then you look at the last fight we had, it was margins from that loss. Like, so for me, like, to be like, oh man, I need to get that one back. I'm like, I'm not worried about losses, and you learn from them and you keep it moving. And that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm focused on bigger things, trying to capture, my first ever World Grand Prix and get a belt from this Grand Prix. The belt is sick. You guys haven't seen it yet, but hope I can get that bad boy and bring it back to the States, and then go off and try to win another belt in a totally different organization.
That's October 13th. By the way, is that happening in a ring or a cage?
It's in a cage. In a cage.
How'd you feel about the ring this past time?
I loved it.
Really?
I loved it. I spend more time in a ring than I do in a cage. At AMC, we don't have a cage. We have a ring. So I've done more sparring in a ring in my whole entire career than I have in a cage.
Oh, really? Okay, so you actually feel more comfortable in the ring. How many times have you fought in a ring in your career?
That's my first time.
Wow. Why do you spend so much time in a ring then? How does that make any sense?
Just because we have one.
Okay. But you have a cage as well?
No.
You don't train in a cage?
No. And believe that. Can you believe that? I was one of the greatest athletes ever to compete in the cage. I like to think I still am. And I never trained in a cage.
What?
I know, it's kind of fascinating, right?
That is fascinating. You guys never put one in there? You never thought that'd be a good idea? You're actually competing in a cage.
Yeah. We never think about putting one in. I don't think we ever will. So.
Wow. That is amazing. Well, I guess all these years of training in the ring paid off. Finally.
Well, we train in an open space area. So
Okay.
we have a ring and we have an open space area. And then we have walls, which can simulate the cage or the cage walls. But, we don't have, a 3/4, angled, cage. We just never have. So for me, when you fight in a ring, you have 4 corners. So you can
Okay.
track your opponent there and you could set them up. But in a cage, there's so many corners that you can't really set up. It's harder to set something up.
True or false, you don't watch UFC anymore?
That is a half.
Oh, okay. So you watch some
So
of it.
it depends who's competing. Like if Max Holloway's competing, I'll watch it, right? Like I have my favorite athletes that I like that I'll sit there and I'll watch. But with me being so busy with the kids and the whole shenanigans with ESPN Plus and all that stuff, I don't jump through hoops.
How
and
dare
hurdles
you?
to-
How dare you,
I'm
shenanigans?
just being honest. You wanted honesty.
Yeah,
You
no,
wanted
okay.
honesty. Do I watch? Do I watch any other sports besides mixed martial arts? Not really. I mean, I watch NFL, but I can turn on the TV and
Right.
turn to channel 13, Q13 Fox. Boom, the Seahawks are doing their thing. But there's too many hoops to jump through. But that's my personal opinion.
Well, this has been a lot of fun. Great to catch up with you. Thank you for doing the entire interview in your car with your seatbelt on. I appreciate that. October 13th, DJ goes for the Flyweight Championship against Danny Kincaid. This is a big deal. Now he could be the one champion and the former UFC champion. He's the man. And I have to bet, yes, did you want to say something?
No, it's not. I won't be the flyweight world
Oh.
champion. That's Adrian Moraes. That's a whole different ballgame. I'm not looking
right.
past Danny King Dad. So this would be the flyweight world Grand Prix champion.
My bad. My bad.
So
My
if
bad.
I'm successful, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just trying to give respect where respect's needed. Adrian Moraes is a beast. Another big 135er. I think he's like 5'9" or 5'10". I don't know how tall he is. But first I gotta get through Danny King Dad, stay healthy, and then I'm gonna try to give myself some time to heal and enjoy myself, and then get ready for that. But we gotta get ready for Japan first.
Much love, DJ. Thank you for doing this. Great to see you. Great to catch up, and congrats on the win last week.
Thanks, brother.
All right, there he is, the one and only Demetrius Johnson. Love talking to him. Great to have him on the show. He returns to action on October 13th. So I'll talk about the sausage all show long here, how it is made. I've been trying to talk to our next guest for a long time, and sometimes I write to him, and there he is, and then he disappears. I write to him, there he is, disappears. Well, I think we found him, so let me not talk anymore. Darren Till, are you there? Is that you?
Yes.
Are you really available to me? There he is.
Man.
I can't see you. Are you on the phone for this one?
Yeah, the phone, mate.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I can hear you. It is you
Okay.
in the flesh. Darren Till, how are you? Long time no speak.
Yes, long time, man. I've missed you. I've missed you, mate. Even though you send me 10 messages a day.
Yes, I bother you a lot. Well, you show up and then you disappear on me. You send me an emoji. You send me a video of you with your wonderful, beautiful, cute daughter, but you don't actually answer my questions. It's amazing.
No, mate. I'm sorry. Well, I'm here.
All right. Well, it's good to have you. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yes,
It has been a
no
while since
problem.
we've talked, but I wanted to
Yes.
check in with you. A lot of people are wondering when you're going to return, all that stuff. We'll get to that in a moment. But the big question is, have you decided what weight class you'll be fighting in next?
Nope, I have not. I'm just training right now, Ariel, and I'm just focusing on getting better and being better, and that's the only thing really, mate. Because like I haven't got a fight yet, and I haven't got anything in mind. So I think the goal right now is just to get better and evolve, because I'm still only young in this sport, so that's my real goal right now.
But you have you know what you're doing. You post things on social media. You talk about middleweights. You're looking big. You know, you're kind of teasing us a little bit, right? Like you are considering that move, correct?
It's been considered, yeah. It's been considered.
At this point, what is precluding you from making that move?
Nothing, as I said, Ariel. The UFC need to come and... Because a few months back, the UFC, I can't remember when, it was just a few months ago, and the UFC wants to make a main event in England. They just wants to make it right off the bat. And they offered Perry, and he wants to just make a main event in Manchester for me and Perry, and it was going to be like this big thing, and then it never come off. So, you know, obviously Perry just had that amazing fight on Saturday, and that was that. That was the only thing what was talked about with the UFC since my last fight, my loss to Masvidal. So, you know, nothing's been discussed. But as I said earlier, you know, if they asked me to fight right now in 3 weeks, I'm ready. I'm more than ready. I'm fit and I'm strong. And you know, as I said, mate, every day is a new day, and I'm getting better.
So if they call you, and just to be clear, they asked you about Perry after the Masvidal fight?
Yeah. They wanted to make me and Perry the main event in Manchester. They didn't even have a date set. They didn't even have an England show to do. They just wanted to make that main event. You know what I mean? I mean, if London was anything to go by, you know, they really seen how the Darren Till show goes, even when he loses.
And why didn't they make it?
It just never really come off, Ariel. It just never come off, mate, to be honest with you. You know, and so that was that. And since then, mate, I haven't really spoke to them. I wished Dana happy birthday the other day on message, and that was it.
And so if they came up to you right now and said, all right, Darren, what would you like to do? What's your answer?
I'd say, offer me someone. Offer me whoever you think you want to offer me.
So you'll throw back in their court.
Yeah. Let's, you know, be clever, be smart, as I say, Ariel. You know, I've always said I'm going to retire when I'm 35, and that's in 9 years' time, mate. So, you know, it's a scary road. It's to think what I can achieve in these 9 years, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to accept the defeats, the future defeats and the future wins and the ups and downs of this fight game, the vicious, malicious fight game, mate, because that's what it is.
It was...
and it's also a glorious fight game as well. It's a glorious fight game.
There are certainly ups and downs, and I appreciate you being able to talk about the ups and the downs. And it was a shocking scene to see you get knocked out. How did you handle that in the aftermath?
Sorry, Ariel, I didn't quite catch that.
You know, when we saw you get knocked out by Jorge Masvidal, that was a shocking scene. I don't think anyone really expected that to happen. How did you handle it afterwards?
It hurt me a little bit more, Ariel, because in my whole life, I've never been knocked down, not even stumbled in the gym or a fight. You know, I've always had a real strong chin. And I did question my chin after that to my coach, Cole, and I said, Cole, why did I get knocked out? And he was like, Darren, it was just a great blinding shot, you know, and that's all it is. And, you know, Ariel, I was winning the fight up until then, but the same goes for every fight with me. The better man always wins on the night. There's no excuses. There's no ankles hurt. There's no bad weight cuts. That's why you didn't win. The better man will always win on the night, and Woodley and Masvidal were just simply better than me on them nights. Does that mean they're better than me? No. I know I can beat the both of them, and I was beating Masvidal, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles, Ariel, to be honest with you, mate.
Seeing how popular he has become since, what that win did for him, how does that sit with you?
Yeah. Great, mate. I wish him all the best. I truly wish that he has a great illustrious career, earns shitloads of money, and then says fuck you to everyone. So that's just the way it is, mate.
And for you, like, I mean, honestly, you sound great. You seem happy. I can feel the smile from your voice, even though I don't see you right now. I can see it. I can sense it. How like the fact that you haven't won since May of last year, the 2 losses. How are you dealing with all of this?
Ariel, life in the fight game, mate. How I see it is just one big fucking up and down. What does that mean? That means that until the day we die, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have triumphs. We're going to have downs in our life. We're going to be up. We're going to be down. And that's what life is about. You know, I don't want to get all fucking spiritual, but we're all going to die. So I just want to accept the downs and the ups, because my life going forward from here after this phone call with you isn't going to be one roller coaster upwards, until the day I die. There's going to be plenty more downs, and that's just fucking life. That's shit you have to get on with, mate.
Your longtime head coach Colin told ESPN recently that he actually advised you not to take the Donald Cerrone fight, that he thought that would expedite things a little too quickly, and that maybe, you guys needed to take some time. Did you see those comments? And if so, what do you make of them?
No, I didn't. Colin to me is just a man of few words. He's a lot of things to me, and I just try to impress him every day in the gym, and hopefully he sees I'm getting better, and every day I'm impressing him. That's just all I do now. Colin's a great man in my life, mate.
Did he in fact tell you not to take that fight?
Yeah, Colin tells me a lot of things, Ariel. He told me not to take my debut in the UFC, and I didn't listen. I thought he was going to kill me, but we came out on top.
Why did he tell you not to take the debut?
I think just because he wasn't around in my corner. I was in a different country, and I think he really wanted to be there, but he let me spread my wings and fly, and it came off better than it should have. I knocked out the former number one in Brazil, and also I spoke Portuguese on the mic, which no one was expecting, so it came off better than it was just great.
Recently, you kind of there was a time where you sort of disappeared, and I think you deleted all your social media and you took a break from the limelight. Why did you do that?
Sometimes I think that social media gets the better of us. I think that you get dragged into this world that you're trying to be better than what everyone's posting, and people are posting stuff that they're great in life, and that they're working hard, and that they're doing this, and they're earning lots of money, and they've got this type of watch or clothes, and it's all fake and it's all bullshit. So instead of competing with everyone, sometimes it's good just to take yourself out of that environment and just chill. And what I call it now, mate, nowadays is it's the social media era. That's what we're in. We're in the social media era. And it's good and it's bad, mate. It can be so positive, but at the same time, it can be so fucking. It's just so easy for people behind the telephone nowadays to just criticise and make and be nasty people, whereas they would never ever dare in 1 million years say it to your face. And that's the generation we're living in now. So sometimes it's good to just step back and just chill and look at real life for a while, and that's what I did.
What, if anything, Darren, can you tell us about what happened in the Canary Islands? You've posted emojis of taxi cabs and things like that. Can you speak about this incident? Can you tell us your side of the story? Did you, in fact, steal a cab?
Don't miss a trick, Ariel. No, I didn't. Ariel, you don't miss a trick, by the way, son. You are sharp as they come.
Thank you.
You know what, Ariel? If I can just tell you the truth, it was just a bunch of lads on. No, I didn't steal a taxi. It was actually a friend. I won't name no names. But it's got to the point now where everyone just thinks I robbed the taxi. So when people ask me, I just say, yeah, I robbed it, but I didn't. And the only downside to that area is I have responsibilities now. I always come out and I always say I'm not a famous person or celebrity. I'm a very well-known fighter because I don't like to be hard with that brush. But you've got to go about certain things in certain ways, and I do have to be more responsible and stuff like that, and I'm still getting used to the fact that wherever I go on planet Earth, I'm known by people, and that's quite scary. So you do have to act in certain ways, and I'm sorry more than anyone to embarrass them in any way. But as I said, if shit happens, it's ups and downs, and spending them 4 days in themselves was no fun.
Were you arrested though?
Put in the cells with my friends for 4 days, and I had to pay a £15.
I think. Hey, Darren, the connection is actually really bad. Can we call you right back?
Yes, of course. Call me back.
Okay, let's call Darren right back because it's a piece of me is dying as I'm asking these questions and trying to get his answers here. Let's just try to reconnect with Darren. there for a second. But interesting stuff from Darren Till. That report back in April that he was arrested for allegedly stealing a taxi and trashing a hotel room in the Canary Islands. Just wanted to clear the air with him and see what he has to say about that. But he has not decided just yet if he's going to move up to 185 or stick around at 170 pounds. Of course, the last time we saw him in action was against Masvidal, which kind of helped propel Masvidal into the icon that he has become today. Since then, Masvidal fighting Ben Askren, Till has not fought. Interesting about that Mike Perry proposal in a Manchester card, which had been rumored but never came to fruition, and I don't believe is on the schedule for the rest of the year unless it pops up out of nowhere. But I'm pretty sure that the rest of the year is all but confirmed at this point.
Yeah, Ariel?
And I don't see. Yes, Darren, are you there?
Yes, I'm back, mate. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that sounds a lot better. I don't know what we just did there, but I'm happy we did that.
Well, if I told you where I was, Ariel, you wouldn't believe me, so...
Where are you?
I was actually on a sunbed. Do you know what that is?
You're getting a tan?
Yeah, I'm getting a tan. Come on, man's going to be fighting soon. Man's going to be looking sexy.
Are you serious?
Know that, Ariel? Yeah, I was on the sunbed and now I'm in the car again. So...
Wait a second.
Day in the life of Darren.
Is that like safe to be in a sunbed on the phone?
Ariel, you know me by now, mate. I just don't give a
Okay. So could I ask the question again? Were you in fact arrested in the Canary Islands?
Yes, I was arrested and I was in the cells for 4 days and I had to pay a £15,000 fine.
Wow. For what? What did you do?
Fuck all, really, Ariel. I was just, I think it was because in the hotel there was a few fire extinguishers lit off and there was a little bit of damage and that done, and so they decided that was the fine. It was wasn't no way a £15,000 fine, but I think they just wanted to exploit me a little bit.
Wow. And you were in a cell for 4 days? What was that like?
Fucking grim, Ariel. Do you know what grim means?
Yes, I do.
Fucking grim, mate, trust me. Eating crackers for 4 days, that's no way for a gorilla to live.
Oh my gosh. Were you with other people?
Yeah. Well, it was funny, Ariel, because the story goes, so me and the guys were all in separate cells, and the guy when he was locking us up, he was actually a fan of mine, and he was like asking me to follow him on Instagram. So I said, okay, I'll follow you on Instagram, no problem, just bring me some food, so a few hours later, he brought me a chicken, a breast of chicken, some avocado, some rice, and a fruit smoothie. So I was like, oh my God, this guy is just he's a legend. So then the next day, we thought we was all going to court, so we woke up early, and I heard one of my friends in the other cell saying, hello, officer, we go to court today. And the guy just comes to my friend's cell, and he goes, not possible, like that. So I was just like, oh my God, what's going on here? Why aren't we getting out? I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. So then I said to the officer, who was like sort of my friend now, his name is Hugo. I said, bro, is there any chance I can get in with my friend in the cell, to have a bit of company? And he was like, yeah, okay, but don't tell the other guys. So then he put me in a cell with my friend and we were just like talking. We were like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? 4 days, Ariel.
Wow. And are there any lingering issues here, or is it all done? You paid your fine, you're done.
No, I mean, as I say, Ariel, the only issue for me really was I felt like that I let down Colin and my management. My management's are really good to me. They're not like management, that they're friends and they're going to be lifelong friends. And so I just felt like I let them down. And, obviously a lot of fans, because, it is a lot of responsibilities, Ariel. But as I say, mate, it's a mistake and it's normal, lads. Not so normal, maybe, because as I say, I'm in the public eye and, but that's it, over now. I paid my fine. We had to spend an extra 4 days on the island because they took our passports and, it's done and dusted, Ariel.
Wow. And so is it possible this was a big, lesson for you, that maybe this kind of scared you straight? You don't want to go back there? Do you feel like a different person since?
Yeah. Ariel, I definitely don't want to go back, but I'm going to tell you, mate, I've been in and out of bother all my life, and yeah, the only problem now is that, because I've never really took on the fact, Ariel, that I am I don't like to say these things, famous or celebrity, but I am a well-known fighter. So the lesson there was, Till, you have to be more responsible, when you're out with your pals or your girl or whatever. And that was the real lesson there, Ariel. You know what I mean? Because people look up to you.
Yeah. Was that your first time in jail?
No, I've been in a few times.
How many times?
In the past. Fucking hell, a few times, Ariel.
More than 10?
No. About 5, 6 maybe.
Wow. Prior to this, when was the last time?
I was on... Fucking hell, Ariel, you're making me sound like a criminal here. I'm not a criminal, just for everyone listening. If anyone's listening, if anyone wants to listen to me, I'm not a criminal, but...
We understand. I was just trying to... I didn't know this about you.
No. It's okay. I'm only joking. Well, I got banned in 2018 for... I got banned from driving, and my girlfriend was pregnant at the time, and I remember I was driving while banned. She was going to hospital, and the police stopped me.
Oh.
And so I ended up spending a few nights in the cells.
In 2018, last year?
Yeah, last year. And I was on a tag for a few months, a police electronic tag.
Is this pre-Woodley fight or post-Woodley fight?
I think it was pre-Woodley fight, yeah.
Okay. And why did you get banned?
In 2017, I racked up too many points.
Ah, okay. Wow.
So the problem there, Ariel, was my girlfriend. It's a bit of a hairy situation because I was driving her to the hospital, and the judge understood that. But as I say, it was wrong.
Okay.
I've never told anyone all this. You're really bringing everything out tonight, aren't you, Ariel?
And I can't believe it. I didn't know this about you. And for the longest amount of time, how long was it?
Oh, it was a long time, Ariel. It was it was before Brazil, obviously, and just never for anything serious. Just being a stupid young kid.
Ever for like a year?
No. I've never been to actual jail.
Okay.
Just spent nights in the cells.
Okay.
Never jail, Ariel.
Are you hoping to never do that again? Like, is that a goal of yours, or are you resigned to the fact that...
Well, if my girlfriend's pregnant again and somehow I magically get banned again and she needs to go to the hospital, I will always take care of the hospital no matter what the consequences are. That's the mother of my child, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But, yeah, of course, Ariel, it's straight and narrow, Ariel, no mistakes.
And do you have your license back now?
Yes, I'm driving right now.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, well, I hope you're driving hands-free.
The phone's not by my ear, hands-free, yeah, of course.
Good.
Let's just clarify that.
Yeah, that's good. All right, and maybe maybe now you'll turn new leaf. You and Piers Morgan friends, or not? Well, let's not get crazy.
No, fuck him. He's the ugliest man I've ever met in my life.
Oh, so that's still going.
Yeah, but he's got one up on me now because I lost my fight, and he,
Yeah,
so
that was horrible. One up on me. That was horrible. Him writing about you. I mean, that low class. I must say though, Darren, you giving, I saw you tweet about Ben Askren after everything you guys have been through. The back and forth after he got knocked out. I thought was pretty cool of you.
Ariel, I don't know if you remember this, mate, but in 2017, when I beat Cowboy and Perry, me and Perry were having back and forths. Perry lost a fight to Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Yes.
And you called me on the Monday, and I just left the gym, and you asked me, I think everyone was expecting me to talk shit, and I said, never will I kick a man when he's down after a fight. And what I did was give advice to Perry. I'm no guy, I'm not his coach, but I tried to give some pointers, and I don't know if you remember that, Ariel.
I do.
Obviously, there's sometimes I do trash talk, but I try not to kick a man while he's down, and especially after a knockout like that. Everyone kicked me while I was down after Masvidal, but that's just life. That's them. That just shows who they are as people in it, Ariel. So fuck them, and we'll see at the end of it all who's laughing, because I know it'll be me, Ariel. So I carry myself like that. I'm still in the mad of fuck you, Ben, but I'm not going to kick Ben while he's just been knocked out viciously like that. That's just me. If anyone wants to kick on me while I was down, which a lot did against Masvidal, that just shows their true character. Fuck them, innit?
I love it. And while we're revealing all this news, while you're telling us you're opening up, let's just
Fucking hell, yeah.
let's just break one more. Your next fight will be at middleweight. Let's hear it.
I don't know, Ariel. I haven't thought about it, mate.
Can you ask my opinion?
You're pushing it.
Can you ask my opinion?
Go on. What's your opinion?
Let's do middleweight. Stop killing yourself, my man. Everyone's having such great success at 185. You're such a great fighter. You're killing yourself before the fight. Try middleweight, please. For me, try middleweight. I guarantee you'll have success.
Ariel, as a respected member of the community, and I respect you a lot, I will take your advice on board, mate, and have a think about it.
I thought I got you right there. I thought you were going to announce it.
Ariel, because it's sort of on my mind as well now. I don't want all these listeners and that, like, because I feel like I'm going to backlash here, thinking I'm some kind of crazy criminal.
No.
Listen, guys, I'm not.
No, it's all
Ariel's
good.
got me opening up, man.
That's what we do around here on this show. But no, that is your past. But now we're turning a new leaf, and part of turning that new leaf, Darren, is moving up to 185. It's a new chapter. It's a new you. You're a proud father now of 2. You're loving life. You're in good spirits. You're happy. You're going to sunbeds in the middle of the summer. I mean, come on. Life is great.
Oh, Ariel. My fucking G.
You're back on social media?
Ariel, yeah, well, as I said, Ariel, it's just good sometimes. Even when I don't delete it properly, it's just good sometimes to delete it off your phone and just have that little bit of freedom. Because, we're all criminals of this, Ariel. You yourself, me. We are on the phone a lot, and we're checking out this and we're checking out that. And sometimes it's just good to take yourself away from that and really just embrace real life, your daughters, whatnot, and that. And I feel like the social media world right now has really got a grip of a lot of us.
Do you expect to fight in 2018? Excuse me, 2019. We're in 2019. Do you expect to fight this year?
100 million billion%.
Oh, so that means something has to happen soon. There's only 4 months left.
Yeah, well, Ariel, you never know. You never know what could be in the pipework.
Oh, okay. So is there something in the works right now that you know about? You're just not telling me?
No.
Okay. All right.
Nothing.
All right.
I'm sure you'd get it out to me the way you're getting me to
Yeah. I'm just wondering.
Own up tonight. You want to ask me anything else, Ariel, while we're on the subject? I'll open everything.
All right. By the way, you know who's next for us? Nicholas Dalby. Remember him back in the day? He's back in the UFC.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, well, I know. I follow him on the old social media, and that's an example in itself, Ariel. A guy. I heard that he had depression after, I think it was my fight or some fights, he wasn't going through the best of times. And I can really dig that, Ariel. And what he's done, he's come back. And his last fight was actually against the guy I was training with for a little while, Ross Houston, who's a good guy as well, who should be in the UFC. And it was an unbelievable fight. And it just shows, Ariel, with a little bit of belief and a little bit of hard work, look where you can get yourself. He's back in the UFC. And he's got a great fight to get back into the top 20, top 15. And you know what, mate? Fair play to him. All good luck to Nicholas Dalby.
Well, this has really warmed my heart, Darren. It's great to talk to you again. You don't make it easy to find you, but when we find you, it's always a great time. I appreciate it. I tried my best to get it out of you, but alas, I have not succeeded. You gave us other great stuff, though, so I'm very thankful.
Yeah, I'm always very honest, Ariel. That's one thing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I keep bothering you, like I said to you on Friday. All the best to you, my man.
I'll
Keep
wait
it up,
for the message.
and stay out of trouble. All right, we got your back here. Much love.
Yeah, I'll try, Ariel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, bro.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There he is, the great
See you
Darren
later.
Till joining
Bye-bye.
us. Great story there. And so no 185. We don't know about that just yet, but I gave him my 2 cents, and we'll see if he actually takes it to heart. Okay, now let's talk to Nicholas Dalby. This is a great story right here. He is back. He is fighting on the Copenhagen card, September 28th in Copenhagen. Yes. Look, there he is, Denmark's own Nicholas Dalby. He's back in the UFC. How are you, Nicholas?
I'm very good, thank you. Just got home from a workout and just catch the last bit of the interview with Darren. And thank you for the words, Darren.
Yes.
Hope to see you again soon.
I think you won't believe me. I did not plan for you guys to be back to back like that. It just only actually occurred to me afterwards that you have this history. So it's kind of crazy. You guys are maybe forever linked.
Yeah, fate has a tendency to put us together. I actually remember when I prepared for the fight against Till, we were like, didn't that guy fight? Yeah, and then it occurred to us he had his debut at the same event I had my debut back in 2015. So we shared the same training facilities in the days leading up to the fight and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
So I don't know. fate brings us together.
Yes. By the way, what does your shirt say? Just what? Oh, Just Bleed.
Just
Wow.
Bleed. Yeah.
That's amazing. Where did you get
I
that?
thought taking. Well, it's actually you know Pani Kianza, the Swedish female fighter.
Okay. Yes.
She had them done as like walkout T-shirts a couple years ago, and I just felt it was quite fitting, taking my last fight into consideration.
That's right. Of course, yes. We talked to Mark Goddard about it. I had PT Carroll on my show to talk about it. Your fight against Ross Houston at the Cage Warriors card just a month and a half or so ago, maybe the bloodiest fight in the history of mixed martial arts, and the first time, the only time that I can recall that a fight has ended because of excessive blood. What was that experience like for you to be involved, as we're seeing these pictures here, in a fight quite like that, a literal bloodbath?
Yeah, it was. I remember getting the first cut, and I was like, okay, I better. I knew it was on the side of my head, so they probably wouldn't stop it because it got into my eyes, but it still, you know, put on. It stressed me a bit, and I was like, okay, I gotta close this fight soon, just in case. Got stopped anyway, but you know, it was a fun experience. It was like being in an episode of Vikings.
Okay. Because I know there are some people like, I talked to Luis Pena not long ago. He says he loves the smell and the feeling of the blood in his ears and all that stuff. Are you the same?
I actually didn't. I didn't think that much about it. I didn't get any like sensory kickback from that. But yeah, looking at the pictures, I don't know, it's kind of cool. And also being one part of a fight that ended in such a way is pretty cool. Like that fight will always go down in Cage Warriors and European MMA history. So that's pretty nice. But no, I don't really particularly enjoy the blood, but it was a fun experience.
That was a big fight for you for many reasons. The biggest one probably because you know, it was a unification bout, but you wanted to get back to the UFC. You did not make that a secret. And there was this card in Denmark coming up in Copenhagen. I mean, it was just tailor-made for you. But it ends like that. There's no decisive winner. And there's footage, and the gentleman's name is escaping me right now. We have the B-roll who caught footage of you talking to Pete after the fight and how emotional you were about everything you've been through and how maybe, you know, the injuries would preclude you from fighting on this card. Was that just the toughest part about the whole thing, that maybe, you know, you were so close, you could smell that Denmark card and you just couldn't get it because of this blood, because of the injuries sustained in it?
Yeah, exactly. In that moment, and you should take into consideration that was like literally 5 minutes after I got stitched up, so emotions and thoughts were all over the place. But yeah, in that moment, I was like, oh god damn it, what if my injuries can't heal in time, and what if they look at how it ended on paper and don't see the actual fight but just see a no contest? Will that play in? And all those kind of details just raced around in my head. So it was quite nice to see that they noticed I dominated the fight, and because of that, got the call up to fight in Copenhagen.
Your manager, Graham Boylan, posted the video of when you found out. You were very emotional afterwards. Can you describe what that, like, did you have an inkling that the call was coming, or were you truly shocked by it all and thus the emotion?
No, I had no clue. Like we'd been texting back and forth over the weeks after the fight, and like he was just, you know, letting me know that he was doing everything he could to make it happen. And at one point, it kind of looked. And then when he called me up, he was like, he was playing tricks with me, because he was like, yeah, well, I was talking to them, and you know, it didn't look too good. And then he was like, but what if I got you a spot on the Copenhagen card? And he asked me in a kind of like in a way, so I wasn't sure in the beginning, as you can see in the video, and so yeah, it was just pure emotions. I had no idea.
And why does this mean so much to you?
Well, it means a lot for several reasons. Of course, professionally, UFC it's the Formula One, it's the Champions League, it's a World Cup. So fighting at that stage is something that means a lot to me, and I feel I belong there, and I have the tools to mix in a top 10 there. But but I have age kind of playing against me at this point. So I need to make it happen. I needed to make it happen soon. So yeah, career wise, that was a very important step for me, but more because it was as Darren and you touched on before, I fell into depression after I got released from UFC. Or actually, during that time, and having that personal battle and fighting that, and not just getting back on my feet, but actually getting back into fighting shape and losing all that weight and starting to believe in myself again in a way I didn't even do when I fought in the UFC last time. It was just such a journey, and Graham, as my manager and the boss of Cage Wars, supported me greatly along that way. And yeah, it was just like getting that UFC contract. It you know it just means a lot for me personally, as a person, but also as a fighter, but also for my family, because my fiance put a lot of effort into dealing with me when I was depressed, and we had a daughter, and I was fighting and getting back. My comeback came when she was like 4 months pregnant, so we were dealing with a lot of stuff during this comeback period. And now when I get to fight in UFC, I'm gonna earn better money, and which has a huge impact on my family and how we can live. So it's very important for everything in my life.
So your last fight in the UFC was in 2016. You were winless in your last 3 fights there. You had the draw and then the 2 losses. And you just talked about, how you were feeling. And you've been open about this, dealing with depression, alcoholism. How bad did it get?
Well, it got pretty bad. Like, especially after the Sabota fight, which was my last UFC fight, I sustained a pretty, I had a broken orbital bone, and so it was I think the worst injury I've had at that point. So that kind of set me back, and I just fell into depression, and didn't do anything else, and stay inside on the couch or in my bed, just binging Netflix and YouTube like literally all day long, eating chips and pizzas. And then at the end of the week, well, because I'm a social person, so I need to get that social interaction at some point during a week or a day. And then I got kind of anxious, and then I texted friends to meet up and get some beers, which was like well intended, but with the state of my mind, it just always ended up being like crazy nights out till like 10 a.m. And if you go crazy and drink a lot, you wake up with like blues the days after, and then that amplifies the depression even more. So that was just a vicious cycle I was in.
How long did that last?
I think it lasted. It started right after the Sabota fight, so it was September 16, and then it lasted for almost a year and a half. I think at least a year.
Wow.
Just like this. Of course, I had periods where it was less, and then some periods where it was kind of crazy. So it wasn't like just full on all the time. But yeah, it was quite the ride of ups and mostly downs.
How did you get out of it?
Well, I snapped out of it someday. I had a pretty bad experience that I can't really go into. But that experience just made me kind of wake up. Like I got woke, as the young people say, and contacted a mental coach / psychotherapist, whatever you want to call it. Made an appointment at his place, and just never looked back. Just wanted to move forward.
The call to make the appointment is sometimes the toughest thing to do.
Yeah.
How hard was that?
At that point, it was easy because I'd fucked up so much shit that I knew if I wanted to get my life back on track, both like career-wise and personally, I needed to just do it now. So in that sense, it was quite easy. It was like the most obvious thing to do ever. But yeah, I'm still kind of like, it's like the chicken or the egg. Did I get better because I made the step to take the call or do the call? was because I went to the guy.
Okay. And just curious, the reason you can't talk about it is it for like legal reasons or personal?
It's for personal reasons. Like,
Okay.
I try to be as open as possible about my life, but I do feel that, to keep my integrity, I need to keep
Sure.
some things private.
I understand and respect that. I had read that even, prior to getting released from the UFC, you were dealing with ups and downs, with depression. And I'm wondering if even now, with things going well, with you being back in the UFC, do you have moments where you feel down? And if so, what triggers them and how do you get out of that?
Yeah, sure. It hits me still. Depression is not something. It's not like a virus that you then take something for and then you don't have it anymore. It's more like a thing you learn to cope with and deal with. And like I just need to be aware of my sleep and how much, like, even if I spend too much time on social media and stuff like that, as Darren was talking about as well, like that kind of messes you up a bit in the head. And if you might have like tendencies to depression, that can, at least for my part, trigger me. And so I just need to be aware and not make too many appointments during a day and stress myself too much. So just keep like a nice steady pace in every aspect of my life instead of going into like too crazy extremes, which is kind of crazy when I'm fighting. But
Right.
I've learned how to manage it pretty well.
Being a European MMA fighter, there are promotions out there, Cage Warriors. There's other promotions, KSW. You can make money. Why did it mean so much to you to get back to the UFC?
Well, I first, and like the cold cynical fact is it's where you make the most money.
Okay.
The second thing is, at least for a fighter like me, the second thing is like, I don't know, there's some pride in it. I think,
Yeah.
getting to UFC and going for my goal of mixing into the top 10 is, no matter how you cut it, no matter how good you are in ONE FC or anything else, people will always look at UFC and who's like in the top division or like in the top of the division there. So there's some pride in there as well, and some challenge of like me challenging myself to go in. I went through a stint in UFC and I could, just do something else. But it's like my personal challenge to get back in top 10 and challenge myself there. Yeah. And then, yeah, I think that's the reasons.
And so after that fight against Ross Houston, it was such a great fight, but it ended on a sort of inconclusive note. There was no clear-cut winner. The push was, let's have the rematch in Denmark. Let's have the rematch in Copenhagen. Even the UFC Europe account, which never tips its hand, did a little like eye emoji to that. And so I think everyone assumed like, oh, this is great. It's going to happen in Denmark. You get called up. He doesn't. He's clearly upset about it if you follow social media. How do you feel about that decision?
Well, there's several aspects to it. Like, he was smart on the mic after the fight. Like, as he said, he felt bad for me when it got stopped because he knew I was dominating. So, and if you look at the fight, you probably didn't get to see the scorecards, but I talked to the judges after the fight and they had me like winning the second round 10-8, and I was winning the fight. So it was basically just on paper that it was a no contest. Had it gone 2 minutes further to the end of the third round, it would have been a clear victory for me. And even if you just look at the fight, it was pretty clear cut. He had some good moments for sure, and he's a great fighter. But I felt it was very dominant. So real smart getting on the mic and putting that out there, and I would have done the same. But then there's the fact that I think his last fight where he won the Cage Warriors title, that was a close split decision against an Italian fighter who hasn't really beat anyone on a particularly high level. So he hasn't had those clear cut decisive victories against high level guys, and I think that means a lot for the UFC guys, the matchmakers, in order to bring people up. And I was coming off the knockout win against Alex Lahore and dominated this fight, and it created a lot of attention. Why they specifically haven't signed him yet, in the end, that it's only UFC that knows whether or not or why they didn't do it. But I can kind of see it from their angle, but I can also see it from Ross's angle. It was a no contest, and he was one part of this amazing fight that created a lot of attention and hype. So I totally understand why he feels he should get the shot.
In the end, you get Cowboy Oliveira, who's tough for a return fight. Were you surprised at the name they gave you?
Yes and no. No, because he's coming off 2 losses, and if I'm not mistaken, UFC has a tendency to test like experienced guys that are coming off a couple of losses. They put them up against new guys coming in to kind of either weed out the old fighter and take in the new, or vice versa, to see if he still has it. So in that aspect, I wasn't surprised. Also because I'm coming to mix myself into the top 10, and if I want to do that, there's not going to be any easy fights. But I was kind of surprised that they would give me such a highly ranked opponent for my first fight. So, but for me, it's just like the perfect mix of risk and reward. So I'm happy.
One last thing before I let you go. UFC 199 is such a weird event for me. A lot of weird things happened that event. The first early morning weigh-ins, I got banned. I also remember you were a photographer at that event, weren't you? If I remember correctly, weren't you like running around with a camera? And if so, do you still do that?
I wasn't like an assigned photographer. I was actually doing work for the UFC equipment team, which are the UFC guys that handle all the fight kit and stuff like that. I was doing some job shadowing, but I was documenting the process as well. But yeah, I still do photography and videography, and yeah, that's a.
Do you want to do that
nice
job?
hobby.
You want to be an equipment manager?
No, I think it was more because I sent them some very insightful questions and tips for how I felt the equipment things ran after my fight against Darren at Dublin, which was the first event where the Reebok deal took into effect when I was fighting. So I just gave him my view on things I didn't think worked so well, and stuff I had questions for, and stuff I think worked well. And based off of that, they wanted me to come over and get some inputs from a fighter's perspective.
Oh, wow. I love that. Well done. And well done on getting back, my friend, and being so open about everything, and allowing us to follow your journey. And I know that's not very easy to be so open with what you're dealing with behind the scenes. So congratulations on all the success recently and making it back, especially in Denmark of all places, in Copenhagen of all places. That is a phenomenal story.
Yes.
I mean, you can't script it. I mean, this is a movie. It's unbelievable. So well done to you. Good luck in training, and I can't wait for the fight September 28th against Alex Oliveira.
Thank you very much, Ariel, and thanks for having me.
Yes. Great to have you for the first time, and looking forward to many more. There he is, Nicholas Dalby. Great stuff from him. Back on September 28th. That's the card, by the way, headlined by Jack Hermansson against Jared Cannonier. Now, final guest of the day. Let's go back to the main event this past Saturday in Uruguay. She is still the UFC women's flyweight champion, arguably the most dominant champion in the sport. There she is. The always happy, the always smiley Valentina Shevchenko, still with her titles. Valentina, how are you? And congratulations on the victory.
Thank you so much, Ariel. Good to hear you. It's became our tradition, yeah. After the fight, straight next day, we have discussion interview with you. So feeling good. I just had flight from Uruguay back to Las Vegas about 20 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And we landed about 2 hours ago. So still feeling good.
I really appreciate you doing this after landing after such a long trip. Thank you. I know you're probably very tired, so I appreciate it, and I won't be very long. This was an interesting fight. I'm wondering if for you it was a frustrating fight, because it has been criticized, as you probably know afterwards, for not being very entertaining. Did you feel frustrated in there because of the lack of activity from Liz Carmouche?
I think, yes, first of all, it's not every fight you can make knockout, but in this fight, I did two knockdowns. First, it was like from two hands, and second one, it was from back fist. I put her down. She fell down. So I grapple her. I throw her down. I control her. I try to choke her, but it was like too short amount of time, and the round ended. So she was trying to bring to the life her game plan for the fight, and I just did my job. I never give this opportunity to her to do what she wants. I just did what I want.
Do you feel like the criticism of this fight is fair?
It's like every time it's gonna be even the greatest fight of all the time, anyone will say something. It's like it's like in this fight it was tension from the very first to very end of the fight, because in every second she went to trying to find some errors in my game and try to use it for her. And I, from my side, I never let it happen to her. I just didn't commit any mistake that she can use against me. And that's why, it's like two fighters can fight it like open fight to each other. It's nothing, no nonsense, nothing like in this game. But when we are speaking about martial arts and arts, it's like in this fight you could see two snipers, and they was trying to find the right spot. They was like covering their movements, trying like to mislead a little bit in their plan game. And it was about like, this tension, who makes the first error, who will do something wrong, and that other one will take this. And she was waiting for it, and I was doing, and like whatever people say, but it's result. It's like we can see how many I received punches or whatever to the head from her, and how many I did. So who in this fight was not working?
Right. No, I personally don't think, just to weigh in for, I don't think any criticism should go your way. You're the champion. You did your thing. It's on her to come in there and try to put you out of your comfort zone. It's not for you to try to make the exciting fight to let her win. That's absolutely crazy. So I don't agree with anyone who is criticizing you, just so you know. You posted the video afterwards of your leg. How is it feeling now? It seemed a little bruised.
It's a lot of bruised.
Okay.
It's swollen. So it's, after the victory, even it's like swollen, you have some kind of injuries. It doesn't hurt that way as it like after if you lost. That's why, okay, it's our sports. It's everything happened. I will put some cream. It will go away.
On the plane, was it uncomfortable?
It was fine. It was fine. It was long plane, but it's totally fine. I already know what to expect from this long flight. That's why nothing new from me for me.
Is there a part of you when you see the criticism, you're like, did we not forget that 2 months ago I viciously knocked out Jessica Ai with a beautiful head kick? Did we not forget that my debut against Priscilla Cachoeira was a one-sided beating where I finished her in the second round and should have been finished earlier? Did we not forget my fight against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, which was very entertaining? Like, is there a part of you that's like, can we just calm down for a second here? Does it get annoying?
Like people, some, not everyone, some, they have very short memory.
Yeah.
But this is a way to remind them every time. It's okay. It's fine. It's nothing like, it's every time, every fight, it's different. It's not depends only from the fight. It depends from your opponent, from what actions your opponent's gonna do. So of course, it's better to do knockout, but you not every time can make it happen.
Is that why you posted that video? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just like, but still, like even with like small shards, with like this very fast fist or like punch, you make your opponent go down in knockdown. We can see some fights that they still have this like interchanging, but no one go into knockdowns. But when you see like knockdowns, what else you wish?
Right. Well, is that why you posted the video on Sunday of you dancing, like just as a sort of like, hey, haters, I'm not bothered by you?
No, it was not because of this. It was, before uh, before the fight in Uruguay, we had like the weather is a little bit cloudy, a little bit cold. And after the fight on Sunday, when it was time to pack in, it came like sun. It was sunny, beautiful weather, and I had a very good mood. And we were in Latin America, of course. And then I heard this music, and it's like came up totally naturally. I never do something so special to show people something. It just everything going coming from the how I feel at this moment.
Did you happen to see Caitlin Chukagian, who's trying to get a fight with you, post a response to your dancing? Did you see this video?
It was weirdest dance that I ever saw.
So you didn't like it?
No, it was fine when you are maybe warming up for something, or I don't know what she was trying to do there, but kind of like whatever.
Is this your next opponent?
Yes, why not? Because every time when UFC come and offer to me, Caitlin, I said, yes, let's do it, because I never say no for no one. But Caitlin's this kind of person who is acting in internet, in Twitter, in her social media, so active, asking the fight. Everyone wants to fight. But when UFC comes and say, okay, Caitlin, this is a fight to happen, she every time say no. So I hope that this time she will go to the end. And but whatever she like, if she wants to be a hero on the social media, every time it's going to be some other opponents and who wants to fight. And actually, really, right now, I have two opponents in my fight for the next title defense. First is Caitlin Chukagian, and the second one is Henry Cejudo.
So you have seen Henry's video calling you out?
Sure, I see it. I saw it. And, I can say, be careful what you wish, because he's all gold hunter, but I can make it happen that he will lose all his gold forever.
Oh my gosh. Do you think he's actually being serious when he does this, or do you think he's just sort of playing a character?
I don't know. He's very insistent in this.
Wow. So
but I'm saying, be careful what you wish.
So you're not afraid of this. You would take the as crazy
Never.
as it is.
Never. I'm not afraid anything. I told after my fight, I evade everyone inside the octagon.
When you saw this video of Henry calling you out, saying that he wanted your gold and all that, wanting to fight you for the intergender championship, male versus female, what did you think initially?
Interchanged. First, when I saw it, I laugh. Of course, it was funny to hear these things. Yeah, and I was expecting some kind of congratulations or whatever.
This is amazing. Look, everyone wants a piece. So, would you like to fight again this year, or are you done? You've been very active.
Now we have still August, of course, I would like to fight before, I don't know how many times, but one for sure, because how many? We still have 4 months. It's a lot of time. I can heal up, I can like recover, restore, put me on the training camp again and do it like 2 or 3 times before the end of the year.
Wow. Okay, so you want to be active. Any chance that we're going to go closer to Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, something like that? Any talks of that?
We would have to discuss it with UFC, what plans they have for make it happen. But from like personally from me, of course, I know if it would be somewhere closer to Kyrgyzstan, it's going to be a lot of fans, a lot of people coming, and every will receive good receivement from the country.
Yeah. Are you worried at all, Valentina, that there's just not enough competition for you, that the gap between you, I feel like the gap between you and the rest of the division is wider than in any other weight class right now, that you're just so much better than everyone else at 125. Does it worry you that you won't have competition?
Every time, it's every time. Like I said before, now in flyweight, it's past just not so long time before we can see like eggshell like potential, eggshell like spirit, fighting character of each fighter of the flyweight, and to know them. This is more important, to know them, because now when we are looking back to the other divisions, we have already history. We saw the fights, we saw the like whatever. It's been a few years that all fans are watching them and knowing them. They're like as a person, and now we have to have a little bit more time before the people became more familiar with the fighters, I mean, of flyweight. But I see a lot of potential from the girls, and of course everyone who are on the top, they are very like fair competition, and of course to face them I have to be in very good shape and trained every time.
I'm wondering if you saw the Bellator champion Ilima-Lei Macfarlane there on Saturday. She was cornering Liz. Do you feel like she's at your level, or do you just think that regardless of promotion, you're just far and away better than everyone right now?
Yes, I saw what she's saying, and I saw her in the corner in the fight. And for me, it looks like she was in the corner of Liz Carmouche.
Yes.
And for me, it's like saying when you, after the fight, you are losing, and then you are saying, "Oh, I could do better. I could do this." You had your chance. Your teammate, your whatever, had the chance to prove, to show what she has. She could not do it because she didn't have it. And now maybe she wants kind of getting some promotion from all of this situation to make her name bringing up a little bit higher. But I say every time, the way, it's very easy. It's very, very easy. Go inside the UFC, fight, climb all the way to the top, and here I am. You can have your try as much as you want, because everyone was trying to find the way to beat me, or the fight to, how she said, to find a quote or whatever. Yeah, but never could. They never could, because that's why to say it's whatever you want to say, you can do it. Just to get in some promotional things, it's okay. But the way it's easy. Come to the UFC, claim the way up to the top of the division, and here I am.
Oh my, I love this Valentina Shevchenko. No more Mrs. Nice Valentina anymore. This is incredible. But I have to ask one last thing, because I don't know why I'm weird like that. If you did fight Henry Cejudo, just curious, because Jermaine did fight a man. I don't know. How do you think that fight would go? Just curious.
I told you, I would leave him without all his gold. Yeah.
Look how serious she is. This is amazing. Valentina, you're the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ariel.
Congratulations, and enjoy your time at home now. And congratulations to your sister, Antonina, as well, for her great win last weekend.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
There she is, the one and only Valentina Shevchenko. Oh, my gosh. She was not messing around. Henry, you barked up the wrong tree. Take it back. Delete. You know that GIF with the delete thing? Delete it, Henry. You messed up. Oh, my gosh. That was amazing. All right. Corporate Jake is freaking out back there. Look at that. I see that? I didn't even get to say anything. Corporate Jake just goes ahead. Unbelievable. Very worried about our time. I mean, this is an all-timer right here. This is one of the all-time great shows that we've ever done. Let me give you some insight into how crazy I am. It's 4:27 Eastern time. At approximately 4:35, I start to worry about next week. How are we going to top this? Who are we going to get? What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, I can't even enjoy it. But I enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all our guests, all our listeners, all our viewers, all our sponsors, everyone who supports this show. It's the highlight of my week. I sort of dread it up until the point, then I do it, and I love it. It's a weird thing. Love-hate relationship, 10 years strong. All right, that's it. UFC 241 this Saturday. It's actually happening. Nate Diaz, Anthony Pettis, Paulo Costa, Yoel Romero, Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic. Wow, it's going down. I'll be there Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. Radio show on Saturday, by the way. Don't miss that. For now, thank you, Macy Barber, Ilima-Lei Macfarlane, Eric Albarracin, Duke Rufus, Daniel Cormier, Michelle Watterson, Demetrius Johnson, Darren Till, Nicholas Dalby, and Valentina Shevchenko. If you missed anything, check it out, iTunes, Twitter, all those places and more, YouTube. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.